Let's go. AFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's the John Kobylt Show. Another day here. Every day, 3 to 6 we're on. And after 6 o'clock, if you miss stuff, that's what the podcast is for. John Kobylt Show on demand. Also on the iHeartRadio app. We got a big day. I'm not just saying that. Steve Hilton, one of the leading candidates for governor in California. And a walk-in election day is on Tuesday. And the mail-in ballot percentage is pretty low for this late in the cycle. So either a lot of people are not interested or not inspired by the candidates, or they're undecided. But there's a new poll out, and it shows Javier Baccaria and Steve Hilton at the top. And in fact, Hilton's lead is 5 points over the third place candidate, Tom Steyer. We'll get into all those details coming up. But Steve Hilton making his first in-studio appearance, and you could watch it live on YouTube. Which leads me to tell you that we are live on YouTube already. So you could get to the site to subscribe and become a member. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. And one other programming note, a special live stream, YouTube only, is at 11 a.m. tomorrow, okay? You won't hear this on the radio, and you're not going to hear it, the audio online. It's going to be live on YouTube, streaming only at 11 a.m., because I just can't say enough. There's always more to talk about. There's always more to say. Now, that's one poll, and I'll talk about the governor's poll later in the hour as we get ready for Steve Hilton. But the poll more important to people, not only in Los Angeles, because everything that happens in Los Angeles spills out over the borders into all the other cities in L.A. County. If L.A. is a sewer, it's more likely your town could become a sewer. And if it doesn't become a sewer, you got to fight like hell to keep the sludge out of your city. And that's the mayor's race in Los Angeles. And UC Berkeley, LA Times had a poll. And, we'll keep these, each polling outfit comes with a different result. So for purposes here, we're going to just compare it to the same poll from March. Okay. UC Berkeley Times had a poll in March. They got a poll now. And this is the last one before Election Day. And they have Mayor Bass dropping to 26%. Nithya Raman up to 25, Spencer Pratt up to 22. So the three of them are bunched up real tight, and with the margin of error, they're all practically tied. There's a margin of error of 2 to 3%. Raman and Pratt each surged by 8 points in the last 2 months. Bass is flat. So according to UC Berkeley, LA Times, they have scoured the region in March and in May. And in May, they couldn't find one more person who switched sides to Karen Bass. Not one undecided voter, not any other kind of voter. Normally, that would mean she is cooked in the general election, no matter who her opponent is. It means that nobody's going to get to 50%. There is going to be a runoff. And Bass is starting with her popularity shrinking even further. And I think it's fair to say that unless you are a union member and getting bribed by Bass with our tax money, there isn't much of a constituency for Bass. That's the bulk of her support. And if you see those rallies on television, they're fake rallies. They're made up of union members who are on leave for the day. We're probably paying them, and they stand there and wave their stupid signs and chant their stupid slogans and pretend that she's the great savior. She's the great failure. Now, what's disconcerting here is that Nithya Raman, who's really running an awful campaign, and has disappointed even a lot of her supporters. People don't know what to do. That this is a crowd that is afraid to turn to Spencer Pratt, even though Pratt is everything he's saying is true. The way he's describing the city is true. The solutions he is offering are the only solutions that are going to work because we've tried everything else, and they're Common sense. They're what most normal people would do if one of us became mayor. And it shows you people are so locked into some of this progressive politics garbage. Nithya Raman's claim to fame for fighting homelessness is to fight the other council people. When there's an ordinance so that other council people can have special sections of their district protected, such as areas around schools, parks, daycare centers. They invoke an ordinance known as 4118. 4118 means that in these designated areas, no homeless within 500 feet of a school, for example. Now, is that not something everybody can agree with? Is there anyone outside a homeless person or outside the gang members who are selling drugs and weapons out of these homeless camps? Is there anybody who disagrees? At least give the little kids 500 feet away from the half-naked guy screaming in the night, waving his member in the air, injecting drugs, bent over, taking a crap. Can we give the kids 500 feet? Do you know who votes against every single one of those proposals? Is Nithya Raman. She votes against every other council person's proposal to keep the crazy people 500 feet away, the zombies. It's remarkable. And I mean, she votes against everybody's proposal. As far as I know, she usually loses. It's often an 11-4 vote, and it's Raman and the three socialists, the DSA. They don't believe the DSA is this new party. They've got 4 seats on the council. They're trying to get more seats. They also have the city controller's office. A lot of people probably didn't even know this was going on. I've talked about it a number of times. But no matter how many times you tell people, it's really, really a dangerous group. Their philosophy is just all out anarchy, communism, defund the police, really get rid of the police, get rid of ICE, all that. Like no law enforcement. And rights go to all the homeless, all the mental patients, and drug addicts. They get full rights, and illegal aliens and criminals. Those are the 3 constituencies for this Democratic Socialists of America campaign. And the worst council people belong to the DSA, or they have staff advisors who belong to the DSA, such as my old garbage bag, Mike Bonnet, who used to be in my district. His staff was made up of DSA, and that's why he would never clean up the homeless. And he got kicked out of office for Tracy Park. So this is amazing. It shows you either people are woefully ignorant or there are people who really believe in evil things. I mean, if you want drug addicts and the mentally ill to be living in front of your kid's school with gang members selling guns and drugs out of the tents, that's what you want. That's what Nithya Raman is for. The scene I described there is from her district, Los Feliz, in front of an elementary school. Row of tents, blocking the entryway for elementary school kids, little kids, and the gangs controlled the tents, and they had a little store inside where you could buy your favorite drugs and your favorite weapons. Inside, they just lift up the flap and say, give me some meth, give me some fentanyl, give me a 45. You pay the cash, and I don't know, maybe they take credit card. I'm not sure, or PayPal or something. But if you pay up, then they give it to you right in front of the school. Nithya Raman wouldn't remove it in her own district, and famously, at a meeting where this type of issue came up, and she spoke out against 4118. The crowd started booing her and heckling her, and she smirked and rolled her eyes and walked away. So she is a crazy person. She is more crazy than Bass. And yet, there you go. It's 26, 25, 22. And like I said, statistically, they're all tied. So the turnout is going to be huge. If you are fed up with this city, you really must vote. And you've got to go with Pratt. You got to go for Pratt, at least here in the first round and get him into the runoff. And let's have a campaign, because this is scary here. And now Raman, when we come back, we're supposed to be on Channel 5 News, but suffered a really bizarre injury, so she claims. And we'll talk about that when we come back. This is the first time I've heard a politician cancel a TV appearance because of an injury to this particular body part. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. A small brush fire is burning in the Brentwood area. A federal judge declines to block President Trump's executive order to create a national list of eligible voters and limit voting by mail. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to go back to the 91 next.
If you're hurt in a car accident, a motorcycle crash, a trucking collision, even a dog bite, what comes after is usually the same. You get pain you didn't expect and appointments you didn't plan for. Insurance companies that say they're there to help, but they're really focused on protecting themselves. And that's why I tell listeners about Sweet James. They help people when injuries are real, stress is high, and the insurance companies already have a plan and you don't. If you've been hurt in an accident, you don't face it alone. No. You get the attorneys at Sweet James to be by your side and help you recover. You call Sweet James for a free consultation. Their number is 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-9-MILLION. They have offices throughout California, including Los Angeles, and they can't guarantee or predict the outcome of your case, but it's important to have Sweet James by your side. The number is 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-9-000-000, sweetjames.com.
Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow, high 60s and 70s. This report brought to you by Mattress Firm. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy back to the 91 in Anaheim Hills.
So this crash along the 91, this is making your way along the eastbound side before Gypsum Canyon. And it's a problem with a car stuck in that left lane, sending you back from the 241 toll road. Now, an earlier problem was in the backup beyond that, but the overall delays for that 91 eastbound still pushing back from almost the 57 freeway. The 55 northbound is slowing from the 22 all the way to the 91, and the toll road 241 slowing from Windy Ridge Toll Plaza to the 91. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm's sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm. They make sleep easy.
This report is sponsored by Habit.
The $10 Gotta Have It meal deal. Swing by for half a Santa Barbara char, a 5-piece chicken bites, your choice of a select side, and a drink. All for a fresh price. The $10 Gotta Have It meal deal. Habit. Fresh like that. Limited time only. Price and participation varies. Tax extra. Terms at habitburger.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in the greater LA area without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in the greater LA area for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text EARN to 64,000. The greater LA area is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in the greater LA area and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text EARN to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text EARN to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text EARN to 64,000.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Is your back or front yard the best part of your home? Well, it can be if you call System Pavers. And I've used them for paved driveways, synthetic turf, landscape lighting, because they simply do it right. No dead grass, no cracked concrete, no we'll fix it later projects that don't get fixed. And they don't just stop at making things look good. They build out full outdoor living spaces, barbecue islands, fire features, water features. Here's what happens. Your friends come over, take one look, and suddenly, oh, I want to do something similar. similar. No, that just means they're jealous. And through May 30th, System Pavers is offering free demolition and removal of your existing concrete, brick, or asphalt, and you get a recycling credit applied to your new project. Call 800-PAVE-004, 800-PAVE-004. Visit systempavers.com/KFI, systempavers.com/KFI. Website for full offer details, contractor's license 661575.
All right, your tanning bed. I guess people are still doing the tanning beds. Kind of gross. Tim Conway Jr. They've got to be filthy.
When you sat down or laid down in it, you could kind of feel the slurge.
So we got
What?
The what?
The slurge.
What's the slurge? It's
Hi,
over.
I booked the slurge.
It's over.
I have a 2 o'clock in the slurge.
Tomorrow night, 6 to 10 on KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Hey guys, it's us, the Jonas Brothers. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nick. And guess what? We created our own podcast called Hey Jonas.
We invented a podcast?
Well, we didn't invent it. We just contributed to it.
We're the first people to do podcasts. We get to ask other people questions because we're sick and tired of being asked questions.
Well, sick and tired is a strong way to put it, but
tired and sick.
Tired and sick. Listen to Hey Jonas on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Hey Jonas and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Hey, it's Conway Show. If you are over 70 years old, this is for you. There's a brand new requirement in renewing your driver's license. We'll tell you about it all today after 6 p.m. right here on The Conway Show. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show, Moist Line, 877-MOIST-86. Tomorrow is the Moist Line day. Week went by quick. Excuse me, 877-MOIST-86. Use the talkback feature in the iHeartRadio app. And we're live on YouTube. And you can subscribe and become a member by going to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. All right, so I just spent a few minutes explaining the latest poll from UC Berkeley, LA Times, which has the mayor's race, Bass 26, Raman 25, Pratt 22. With the margin of error, they're basically all tied. Raman and Pratt up by 8 since March. Bass is flat. And now the California Post has interviewed a bunch of polling experts. Jamie Paige did the story. Just came out in the last hour and said this poll is probably wrong, that it is dramatically understating Pratt's support, and they explain why. I'll read you what they say. I don't trust polls to the letter. Some of the reasons why are laid out in this article, but it's all we got, and I think it's pretty clear that Pratt has surged. I will just say over Memorial Day weekend, and I'm on the West Side, which is teeming with wieners, and virtually everybody I ran into, because we had a couple of social events, almost everybody I talked to, well, they were seeking me out actually, is to talk about Pratt. Nobody was asking me about Nithya Raman, other than to roll their eyes the way she does. By the way, I have yet to either run into or have a friend or relative tell me that they know a guy who's voting for Nithya Raman. Do you?
I know a woman,
right?
And I think her husband is actually.
Really?
I think she said they.
Does he have all his parts?
Uh-huh.
Well, how would you know?
Well, she would have probably told me.
I see. My wife knows a lot of ramen people. I just haven't run into the guy. I don't know if I want to. Like, what guy would get, oh, yeah, Nithya Raman. That's what LA needs. Right. There aren't enough people lying dead in the street. Let's have more. If I had the money, I'd love to put up fake Nithya Raman billboards. I have Nithya Raman because there's not enough drug addicts laying dead in the street. You know, there's a lot of billionaires that live in LA. I read about them all the time. Can't one of them with a sense of humor pay for a billboard like that? Anyway.
You know enough people, John. You know billionaires. Why don't you talk to them about that?
You know, I'm going to make a personal plea.
You should.
To all the billionaires out there. Is like somebody put up some really funny anti-Nithya Raman billboards. Really funny, really cutting. That would, and they would be truthful too, because you look at her policies. There's apparently not enough homeless camps in front of elementary schools for the kids to enjoy. Anyway, I've interrupted myself and then interrupted my interruption.
Yes, you did.
So
now I'm interrupting you.
And then you're leading me farther down the road, and it's going to take till 5:30 before I get on track. Spencer Pratt, according to these polling experts, probably is doing even better than the UC Berkeley Times poll. They talked with Rick Taylor. He has spent 50 years in LA politics, not connected to any campaign, but he says internal campaign tracking, internal polls that he is familiar with show Bass is more like at 32, Pratt at 30, and Raman lagging at 18. Now, that would make more sense to me. I know Bass has a built-in audience made up of all those pathetic government employees and union members and woke heads, and 32, and Pratt is clearly got to be surging. Raman, I'm just not running into her constituency. And Rick Taylor says the problem starts with how many modern polls are conducted. These pollsters only believe in doing digital, which he believes is a weakness. You miss people who are not inclined to spend 20 minutes on their phone or on a computer answering questions. This is why the national polls missed the Trump surge over and over and over again. He always did much better all 3 times running for president than he did in the polls because his people don't vote as often, so they weren't in the likely voter category. Because they'll screen you out. Like if you haven't voted all that often, they'll screen you out. You're not a likely voter. And then they don't have the time to sit on the phone with a pollster because you don't just get one question. Who do you like for mayor? You get, 72 questions. I did one poll in my life once just to do it, long time ago. And we were on the phone so long, the woman called back and asked me for a date. That's how long we were talking. It's true. And then stupidly I went on the date, but that's another story. And after I did that, I thought, this is a waste of time. I'm never doing this again. I just wasn't working that during that month that they called me. So I had the time to fill the day. Taylor calls the Berkeley survey an outlier and says modern polling cuts corners by leaning too heavily on cheap digital outreach. You get these emails, I get them, saying you want to take a survey. That the LA Times poll is a poll. I call it an outlier. It's just not dependable, and it comes down to money. A poll can cost between $45,000 and $50,000. Campaigns and polling firms have to repeatedly call voters, restart interviews when people hang up, train operators to stay on the phone to complete enough of the detailed surveys, and cheaper polling methods are missing the very voters driving Pratt's surge, right? Because these are the people who don't vote a whole lot. They just bop along. Then they look around and see all of Nithya Raman's drug addicts lying and dying in the street, and it's like, what the hell's going on here? Is there anybody fighting this stuff? And turnout is at 7%. With the mail-in ballots, 7%. And it seemed, Taylor says, progressive voting seems to be less energized this cycle. Well, yeah, the progressives have destroyed the city. I mean, maybe even some of them are realizing it's like, wow, we really screwed this place up. We made this place a filthy cesspool. Maybe we're wrong. Maybe our ideas don't work. All right. When we come back, did I ever get to whatever I wanted to get to? I don't even know anymore.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I didn't. I didn't get to the Nithya Raman's body part that got injured.
Oh, yeah.
Kept her off Channel 5. That was a good tease, too, and I completely blew it. Well, Ray walked in with this new thing, so we'll get to Nithya Raman's injured body part next. Can't do TV. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Fire crews have stopped the forward progress of a small brush fire burning beside the southbound 405 in Brentwood. LA Fire Department officials say there are light winds in the area and crews are working to set up hose lines around the fire. The freeway is open. The department says drivers should expect delays and possible lane closures. Angel's going to have more on that in her traffic report. A federal judge has declined to block President Trump's executive order to create a national list of eligible voters and limit voting by mail.
Trump's order directs the Postal Service to only provide mail-in ballots to voters on an approved list. But Judge Carl Nichols ruled that the lawsuit was premature because the government has not yet taken steps to implement the order, and therefore plaintiffs have not suffered any harm at present.
ABC's Chuck Sievertson says Democrats and civil rights groups argued the order would likely be found unconstitutional because the states and Congress have the power to set election rules, not the president. U.S. and Iranian officials are saying a tentative agreement to extend a ceasefire has been reached, but President Trump and Iran's supreme leader have yet to sign off on it. ABC's Ian Pannell says if approved, it would formally extend a ceasefire between the countries and gradually reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
The Iranians on state media or semi-official state media are already pushing back on that, saying the details have not been finalized.
He says if approved, it would extend the ceasefire by another 60 days, possibly lift some restrictions in the Strait of Hormuz and end the U.S. naval blockade. Legal cannabis sales in California have generated nearly $248 million in tax revenue during the first 3 months of 2026. Figures were released by the state yesterday. Since recreational marijuana became legal in 2018, the cannabis industry has generated more than $8.1 billion in state tax revenue. And a man in Austria has been convicted of planning to attack a Taylor Swift concert in Vienna nearly 2 years ago. He's been found guilty on multiple charges, including those related to the concert, and sentenced to 15 years in prison. The concert plot was thwarted, but Austrian officials still canceled Swift's 3 performances in August of 2024. We're going to go to the 405 next.
Lasting Smiles dental implants. Oh, we had a big response for the April Smile special, so I got them to extend it into May. But May is ending this week, and they only have a limited number of spots at these prices. If you have a mouth, that's an ugly mouth. It's rotted, decayed teeth in there, and there's not much of a smile that anybody wants to look at, and you need to fix it. You've been waiting for the right deal. This is the right deal. You get a free comprehensive dental exam, 3D imaging, custom treatment plan, payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. Again, it's limited availability, first come, first serve. Lock in your spot by mentioning KFI or John. You get the incredible deal here. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
Southland weather from KFI. We do have a chance of showers after midnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs low 70s metro LA. Low to mid 70s in the valleys. Mid 60s to low 70s and windy in the high desert. Upper 60s to low 70s at the beaches and inland OC. Upper 60s to mid 70s in the IE and windy. Right now, 68 in Laguna Woods, 65 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Lane closures on the 405 due to the fire in Brentwood.
This is affecting southbound travel on the 405. It is coming right up on Getty Center, where the 3 right lanes are blocked. Just saw a live shot of this a couple of moments ago, and that drive is just a big mess getting away from the 101. Seems to be affecting the 101 as well, northbound all the way out of Hollywood from Sunset Boulevard and stretches all the way to the 405. And the southbound side of the 101, overall delays out of Calabasas from Las Virgenes and stretches back to the 170, 134 split. Ahead in Hollywood, Sunset into downtown. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Are you like millions of Americans who avoided filing their taxes this year because you're afraid you will owe the IRS thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you don't need to be afraid anymore. Tax Relief Advocates has the solution. We can file your back tax years and may be able to reduce or even eliminate what you owe. With over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, we've helped over 100,000 Americans just like you permanently and painlessly resolve their IRS debt. A resolution specialist is waiting to speak to you now, who will let you know what tax debt reduction you may qualify for. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call our tax relief hotline now to see what you qualify for at 800-511-0719. 800-511-0719. Again, that's 800-511-0719. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Are gold and silver still a good buy? JP Morgan and Bank of America think so. They're forecasting even higher prices ahead. Trillions of dollars in U.S. debt. Inflation, well, that's getting our savings. Gold remains a historical hedge for wealth protection. Call Lear Capital at 800-225-8100 for a free gold investment kit. That's 800-225-8100. Learn how you could qualify for up to $20,000 in bonus gold. 800-225-8100.
Congressional districts change. Lines get redrawn, but some things you can still count on, like AM and FM radio. The most reliable ways to reach people where they live with voices they trust across towns, cities, and congressional districts. At iHeart, we connect with more Americans than anyone in audio. Ready to take your message to your current and future voters? Partner with iHeart, and we'll combine radio with our podcasting and digital assets and get working for you. Start today. Call 844-844-iHeart or visit winwithiheart.com.
I feel incredible because I called 1-800-WEST Medical.
This is Jacob Emrani. When you need help after an accident, I'm here for you.
1-800-345-6789. Call Jacob.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose.
$5,000 to spend in your classroom.
Thanks to you, more than 50,000 teachers have been recognized for the amazing work they do in classrooms across America each and every day.
$5,000 in school supplies.
Congratulations! We're helping get teachers the resources they need to inspire the next generation.
All the people who help our children to learn and thrive, it's a partnership. We can't do it by ourselves.
Just go to iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. We're on from 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, the podcast, John Kobylt Show on demand. A lot coming up. We have Steve Hilton, the Steve Hilton, coming in at 4 o'clock in studio. And he'll be live on YouTube because we're already YouTubing. We got the live stream going. You go to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow, and you can subscribe, become a member, and you can watch us all afternoon, enjoy the comments along the side in the chat room. And Steve Hilton will be here coming up in just a few minutes. We have a correction to make. We were talking amongst ourselves on the air. If anybody knows a male, a biological male who has remained a biological male who is voting for Nithya Raman, and Deborah thought she knew of one, but it turns out no.
Yes, I'm sorry. The man and woman, actually, the couple, they are voting for Bass.
I see.
So I was mistaken.
That's and they're friends.
Yes.
All right. I need to talk to them. That probably wouldn't work out well, huh?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, Nithya Raman is really, really bad. So I go back to my original statement. I don't know somebody who knows somebody of a current biological male who is voting for Nithya Raman. Politics is all about demographics. So I'm curious about demographics. I want to know just what the percentage is there. Because I notice we have talk about it all the time, just a very female-driven government. We have 5 LA County supervisors. We've got a female mayor, and the 5 supervisors are female as well, and many other females in all levels of government now. And there's this concept called suicidal empathy, where now all the empathy pouring out of these women collectively, or it could just be corruption, it's hard to tell, they have more care for the criminals and for the homeless people, the drug addicts and the mental patients, than they do for the rest of us who have to live with all the insanity. It's called suicidal empathy. Go look it up. Somebody wrote a book on it just in the last couple of weeks. Now, on to Nithya Raman. She was supposed to be on Channel 5 to do an interview, and we're going to play you a clip. This is Michael Oman, right? They had to apologize that Raman called in. She had a certain injured body part.
We have extended a number of invitations to Mayor Bass to appear on the show. Those invitations have all been denied. And tonight, candidate for Mayor City Council member Nithya Raman was scheduled to appear with us here in studio. However, her team canceled late this afternoon, citing a tongue injury.
A tongue injury?
A tongue injury.
How do you get a tongue injury? I mean, I understand maybe she bit down on it too hard. She was chewing on something.
I've bitten my tongue.
I have too, but it does hurt.
But never to the point where I couldn't work.
Same.
Maybe it feels painful or a little swollen or something. But
taking a leave.
I can't imagine biting so hard that you can't do an interview anymore. Do we know if it was a bitten tongue or maybe some other? I mean, could she have strained it? Pulled a muscle?
Doing what?
You tell me.
I walked right into that one.
I was waiting for you. Actually, I was. I'm thinking, how can I set this up so she does that?
And I did. Of course.
Wow.
I have issues.
No, I'm just so happy I can rely on you. That's all. You never let me down.
I'm that predictable?
Yeah. Well, no, just I just know how you're going to respond. That's all. You will ask the question.
I have a big mouth.
That's okay. So, keep going. Go ahead.
No, God.
So anyway, Nithya could not talk to Channel 5 because of the tongue injury. Now, I don't know if the tongue is in a cast or a splint, if she's out for the rest of the campaign, because she's only got another few days.
You only have one tongue. You have to take care of it.
That's a good point there. Boy, somebody paid attention in physiology class.
That's me.
Yeah. That's right. I only have one. Are you sure?
As far as I know.
Could be a second one there. So that would be a shame if we couldn't hear Nithya Raman talk for the next week. Boy, I'd really regret that. I got to believe, and this is not just wishful thinking, though. I got to believe that pollster that talked to Jamie Paige at the Post is right, that they're not picking up the Pratt vote based on people who are going to have the patience and desire to participate in an online or phone poll. That this is a different kind of phenomenon going on, and the kind of person who is so fed up and so sick of everything in LA and the media in LA, they get an email or they get a phone call, they're going to just say, "Oh, F this! I'm not wasting my time on this," because nobody trusts this stuff anymore. The pollsters still have to make a paycheck, and they don't want to talk out loud too much about, hey, nobody's answering the phone anymore. Nobody's responding to the emails. In fact, we're getting blocked and deleted and reported, and we're all everything's going into the spam folder, basically, poll requests. If it's not going into spam, it's going into trash. So I don't know. It's hard to believe just based on. I'm trying to trust my own senses. Like when I trust my eyes, I know that there is no reduction in homeless people in LA. I'm trusting my eyes. I'm trusting my ears, and I'm thinking, boy, there's a lot of Spencer Pratt chatter going on. And people are animated, too. Like, I never heard people talk about a mayoral race like this before that I can remember. So it can't be that there's the same level of support for Nithya Raman, who, like I said, I haven't met that guy yet who's saying go Raman. And I really can't believe mothers want a woman who had let a homeless encampment filled with drug addicts, mental patients, guns, gang members, You'd let that in front of your kid's elementary school? I really have a hard time believing that. I don't think we're that insane yet, but we'll find out after the vote. And I hope all the progressives who haven't shown up to vote stay in their dark little hole in their basement. And they can amuse themselves any way they want. But stay away. Stop voting. Please stop voting. We've got Steve Hilton coming up. And when we come back, we'll get into the polling for the governor's race. And Steve Hilton will be here right after Deborah's news. We have Deborah Mark. Always reliable. Live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Happy to help. Here is the latest. A family from Altadena has filed the first private civil suit for rent gouging in the aftermath of the Eaton fire. Police are continuing their investigation in what they say could have been a murder-suicide in North Hills. We'll have more at the top of the hour from your Toyota dealer's traffic center. We make it easy. Back to the 405 in the Sepulveda Pass.
Now, due to a brush fire that's burning on the west side of the 405, it's affecting southbound lanes here. Coming up on Scribble Center, it's the 3 right that have been blocked off while fire crews are continuing just to clean up. Deborah mentioned that forward progress in this fire has been, they've halted the forward progress, so that's good news. But traffic sure is a mess on that 405 southbound, loading up all the way from the 101. And northbound, of course, they're slowing down and take a look with delays all the way out of Culver City from Venice Boulevard to the 101 freeway. South LA 110 northbound, loading up from the 105 as you continue all the way to the 5 in Elysian Park. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Here's a question. How many brokers does it take to insure your business? Well, if you're like most business owners, the answer is too many. Multiple policies, multiple applications, and no clear view on how it all fits together. And when questions come up, it's not easy to get the clarity you need. Super Sure changes all of that. One broker for your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. And if you've ever stared at a policy, wondering what it actually covers, Super Sure has a fine print fax tool that translates the legal jargon into plain English. That way, you know what's covered and what's not. Right now, you can go to supersure.com and get a full report on your current policies with no obligation at all. Find out if you're overinsured, underinsured, or somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This is Doug Gottlieb. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by iHeartAdvertising.com.
After rolling to a 5th straight win with a sweep of Colorado, the Dodgers have tonight off. They'll welcome Philadelphia to town tomorrow evening. Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford said he's happy to have first-round pick Ty Simpson as a teammate, telling the Pat McAfee Show he's eager to share his knowledge. Top-ranked Yannick Sinner was ousted from the French Open today in a major upset after needing treatment for cramps. I'm Bill Horan.
Run a business and not thinking about radio? Think again, because people are listening to radio more today than they did 20 years ago. And only iHeartRadio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, even social. Learn how radio can help your business. Call 844-844-iHeart.
This report is paid for by Adam Miller for mayor. Tired of politicians making promises while LA keeps getting worse? Adam Miller delivers results. He's managed disasters, built affordable housing, and helped keep people off the streets. This June, choose a proven outsider. Vote Adam Miller for LA mayor. Paid for by Adam Miller for mayor.
This is Meet the Candidates.
I'm Jeff Thomas, Division President at iHeartMedia, and I am pleased to welcome today Nithya Raman, who is candidate for the mayor of Los Angeles, currently on the city council. I really want you to tell people what it is that separates you from the other candidates in the race and why they should vote for you.
I think I bring a sense of courage to this role. So much of what needs to change in Los Angeles requires us to stand up against powerful interests that have shaped LA in ways that I think are making it harder for residents. And I've had the ability and the courage to stand up for what I think is right. You know, we can get to agreement on things. We can work together to figure out what's best for the city and what's best for people's neighborhoods. neighborhoods, but I'll never be afraid of taking a hard decision, of standing up for the people of Los Angeles and for ensuring that I'm talking to my critics and trying to get to a place where we both can agree on what's better for LA.
Gearing up for summer travel? Then it's time to put that old car in your driveway to good use. Hey, it's Conway, and here's the deal. Donate your car to Cars for Kids in just 2 minutes. Go to carsforkids.org or phone them up, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K. Any condition, they'll take it and tow it for free. You'll get a tax deduction, a 3-day, 2-night hotel stay to use this summer. 2 minutes, free pickup, and a free vacation? Wow! Donate your car today at carsforkids.org or call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-2013. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-2013. That's 800-444-2013 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
Stream the primary elections live on Fox Local on Fox One. Stay informed with breaking news, race updates, and results in real time. Fox One brings all your favorite Fox channels together. Stream now. Watch 3 days free. For details, visit fox.com.
Silver is no longer just a commodity. It's a strategic resource. Demand is up, supply is tight. Experts expect prices to soar. Call Lear Capital at 800-225-8100 for your free silver report. Lear Capital, 800-225-8100.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, Ask Handel Anything, the Crew Edition. This is where our team gets to ask whatever they want about me. And the point is to embarrass me. And it's probably going to work pretty well. And that's coming up tomorrow morning after 8 on the next Bill Handel Show.
John Kobylt Show, KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk radio. You can follow us at John Kobylt Radio, at John Kobylt Radio. And we're live on YouTube. You subscribe and become a member by going to youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. And we have a live stream. I got to mention this again. There's a live stream tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Just me, 11 a.m. tomorrow, the live stream. And this is extra content for you as we're just a few days away from Election Day. So that's what we're going to be discussing. Now, Steve Hilton will be here right after 4 o'clock. Steve Hilton is the leading candidate among Republicans for governor, leading overall in some polls. He's not number 1, he's number 2. Behind Javier Baccaria. And the two of them have opened up a lead of, in the latest poll from Public Policy Institute, you got Becerra at 23, Hilton 20, and then Tom Steyer back at 15%. Not getting much of a return for his $200 million. And why do you think? Because the guy's a weirdo. Chad Bianco at 13. And once again, the Bianco crowd, you should not risk somehow, because again, you can't trust the polls. And if somehow we end up with Becerra and Steyer running for governor, this is going to be a long, long year and a really bad 4 years to follow. So it would be really smart to help out Hilton and give him some insurance, some cushion here. Because Hilton and Bianco agree on just about everything. I'm not sure they differ. Maybe I'll ask Steve if I got the time. He's only going to be in here for a half an hour. But what would be the difference anyway? I mean, if people, I do think Hilton has articulated a very detailed case of what's wrong with California by doing all that investigation. His Cal Doge operation has uncovered, so much fraud, and maybe that's what's given him the edge. And you know what? We got a lot of weenies here in California, too. It could be that Chad Bianco being a tough sheriff is something that puts off some more middle-of-the-road people. Anyway, we'll get into the race with Hilton coming up in just a few minutes. The rest of the poll has, Bianco is fourth at 13, Steyer 15, third place, Bianco 14 at 13%. Mrs. Potato Head's down to 12. And I can't find Antonio Villaraigosa. They don't even put him in the article anymore. He's not even in the story. I think I saw 7%.
I believe in me.
Which would be pretty good. He was here the other night again.
Yeah, I heard him on Conway Show.
And he was looking for you.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
No, he was. He
thought somebody else was me, I heard. Didn't he think that Sharon Bellio was me?
He thought Sharon Bellio was you.
So funny. He's just...
Where are the women at, guys?
He thought the last time we saw him, he thought you were my wife.
Uh-huh.
Now he thinks Sharon Bellio is you.
Yeah.
Which makes Sharon Bellio my wife, I guess, right?
Yes,
in his mind.
Wow, you're a polygamist.
And
he did use the word partner.
Partner?
Yeah, that was the word he used.
Oh. Right, I'm just connecting it to the original thing.
No, I know, but yes. I'm just saying, like, partner. That was the word he was using for spouse. Like, partner. You could have just said wife.
Yeah.
Unless he meant radio partner.
Who knows what he meant? He didn't know what he meant. Maybe he's taking a trip to Biden land. I don't know.
I believe in me.
He could be on the bus. Speaking of, after we have Steve Hilton on. We got to go through. Jill Biden has got a book coming out, and so she's giving interviews, and she's on CBS News, and there was a piece in the Atlantic. Now she's claiming that she thought Joe was having a stroke. Now, during the debate, the first few minutes when he just completely flatlined against Trump. And if you are thinking your husband's having a stroke, would you just sit back and let him continue the debate? Or would you say, stop the debate and let's get paramedics on him?
Maybe she did. Maybe she did call 911.
I can't believe. I assume she was sitting in the front row and she sees her husband and goes, "Oh my God, is he having a stroke?" Well, then do something about it. Well, no, it's more important we beat Trump. If he's got to die fighting Trump, then he's going to die fighting for Trump. I don't know. That didn't seem to be a very protective, wifely thing to do.
Well, I think maybe in her defense, at first, she thought, wow, maybe he's having a stroke. And then she realized that it was just how he was talking.
He's talking like a guy who's having a stroke.
But maybe she's heard that before. So she understood that it was not anything out of the normal, although she did insist that he did such a great job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We're going to play all those clips and we're going to play all her contradictions, because actually all the things that you and I said, she has said all of those things. She's taken all sides on this issue. So we'll do that. But first, Steve Hilton, right after Deborah's news. And Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Price gouging. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A family from Altadena has filed the first private civil suit for rent gouging in the aftermath of the 2025 wildfires.
Randall and Candy Rennick said they were charged nearly 3 times the maximum allowed under LA's rent gouging law. After the Eaton fire forced them out of their Altadena home, they found a long-term temporary rental whose max should have been around $5,000 a month, but they say they were charged nearly $15,000. They claim they were overcharged more than $95,000 total by the landlords, who received notices from the LA City Attorney's Office and LA County but did nothing. The Rennicks want restitution for the overcharges, compensatory damages, and civil penalties. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
A federal judge in LA has questioned prosecutors about their plans for the upcoming Palisades fire arson trial. The judge says she's concerned the government's theory on the case could confuse jurors or lead to a legally questionable verdict. Jonathan Rinderknecht is accused of intentionally starting a fire on January 1st of 2025, which reignited and became the Palisades fire. The judge says jurors could find Rinderknecht guilty of igniting the first fire, but not guilty for the damage and destruction caused by the second one. The trial is set to start on June 8th. Police are continuing their investigation in what they say could have been a murder-suicide in North Hills. 2 adults and 2 young children were found shot dead last night in their home. This neighbor says it's shocking.
We're just devastated for the family, the children. It's just horrible.
Police say they can't confirm if the wife and mother was the shooter, as has been suggested. Governor Newsom has proposed blocking anyone in California from getting any money from the Trump administration's so-called anti-weaponization fund.
We want to tax 100% of those proceeds. And that's an action the state of California can take. It's an action we look forward to taking.
The Justice Department announced last week it would create a more than $1 billion, almost $2 billion fund to compensate those who claim they suffered weaponization and lawfare during the Biden administration. Newsom made the threat while signing legislation limiting access to election ballots. Women's rights groups are condemning the new Justice Department investigation into E. Jean Carroll, the former magazine columnist who accused President Trump of sexual assault. The DOJ is investigating whether Carroll committed perjury during her civil trials against Trump, but Sonia Osorio, the executive director of national advocacy organization Women's Justice Now, says it's outrageous.
We all know what this is about. This is retribution from Donald Trump.
Carroll won civil judgments against Trump before his second term. Ford is making money, but not from cars or trucks.
Ford stock has reached a 3-year high after saying it's getting into the AI data center business. The company announced 2 weeks ago it was investing $2 billion in Ford Energy, which repurposes electric vehicle batteries as energy storage for utilities, industrial business, and the data centers that communities across the U.S. are arguing against. Investment banker Morgan Stanley says Ford Energy could be worth $10 billion. Ford's competitors, GM, Jeep, and Stellantis, are all down in value this year as they and Ford move away from EV sales, while sales increase for EVs outside of the U.S. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
And analysts say uncertainty over the Iran war is making it tough to predict what could happen in the oil market. Right now, the average price of a gallon of regular unleaded in LA County is more than $6. Gas Buddy analyst Patrick DeHaan says summertime demand could drive gas prices even higher right across the U.S.
9 states where gas prices have fallen back below the $4 a gallon mark. We anticipate the summer average for gasoline could be $4.80 a gallon.
He says some states are suspending their gas taxes to lower prices at the pump. We're going to go to the 10 next.
You know about Byrna. I've been telling you, they want to get you prepared for summer now. Byrna is offering $100 off the Byrna LE Gen 2. You go to Byrna.com, B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna.com to get yours while supplies last. Byrna.com. Now, you might already own a firearm. But before you face the financial, legal, and emotional weight of pulling the trigger, there's a smarter option, and it is Byrna. And the FBI says less than 0.01% of all altercations require a lethal response. So they have a safety plan that includes firearms, but that's only necessary less than 1% of the time. No permits or background checks are needed with a Byrna. The Byrna launcher, has powerful deterrents like tear gas, kinetic rounds, with a 60-foot range, and one shot can incapacitate the bad guy for up to 40 minutes. You have to see this deal from Byrna. They're offering $100 off the Byrna LE Gen 2. Visit Byrna.com, B-Y-R-N-A, Byrna.com to get yours while supplies last. That's Byrna.com.
Southland weather from KFI. We do have a chance of showers after midnight, partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs low 70s metro LA, low to mid 70s in the valleys, mid 60s to low 70s and windy in the high desert, upper 60s to low 70s at the beaches and inland OC, upper 60s to mid 70s in the IE and windy. The Dow closed up 25, S&P 500 up 43, and NASDAQ up 243. Right now it is 70 in Tustin. It is 63 in Laguna Beach, 64 in Chatsworth, at 68 in Van Nuys. We are going to the 10 in Santa Monica.
It's a slow drive on that eastbound side of the 10 with delays backing up all the way from Lincoln. Delays continue out of Santa Monica across Mid-City all the way to the 5 in Boyle Heights. You know, I'm looking at East LA on the 710 southbound, and that's crawling, leaving the 60. Looks like there's a crash ahead in Southgate coming right up on just at Firestone Boulevard. They're clearing this wreck out of lanes, but it was really messing up the drive. The drive on the 5 is also tough this afternoon. Getting out of Burbank, southbound slowing from Alameda. Delays continue all the way to the 605. Tough in Corona. I'm looking at this 15 southbound. It's crawling from the 91 freeway heading towards Temescal Canyon Road. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
Have you tried Ozempic, Wegovy, or Mounjaro but still feel stuck? Many patients lose some weight on injections only to plateau while still struggling with obesity, sleep apnea, reflux, diabetes, or joint pain. Plus, monthly medication costs can add up. And many people regain weight after stopping treatment. West Medical's bariatric surgery might just provide the long-term solution you've been looking for. Schedule your free consultation at 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
I feel incredible because I called 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
It happens only once a year in Las Vegas.
Our legendary iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
Is back.
Please put your hands in the air.
One stage, 2 nights.
Are you ready?
featuring the biggest names in music. Live, loud, and always full of surprises.
We're getting this party going, huh?
Hear it live on iHeartRadio and streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Listen for the reveal of our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tuesday morning at 8.
KFI AM 640.
An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640 for stimulating talk radio. It is the John Kobylt Show. Welcome. We are on every day from 3 to 6. After 6 o'clock, whatever you missed, John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. And we are live on YouTube. And if you go to YouTube, you'll see there's another man on the screen. And that's Steve Hilton, who is one of the leading candidates for governor here in California, a Republican. He's either number 1 or number 2 in all the polls. And we're just a few days away. Turnout is actually kind of light on the mail-in ballots. And so a lot of people are going to be showing up on Tuesday, more than usual. Mm-hmm. I guess there are a lot of undecided people. Anyway, we're live on YouTube. And to subscribe or become a member, go to youtube.com/@JohnKobyltShow. And you can go watch us now and even participate in the group chat running along the side of the screen. Steve Hilton, I'm so happy to finally have you in studio.
I know, amazing. After it feels like we're like old friends.
I know. We've talked so many times.
We've never actually met in person.
I know. We talked so many times on the phone, and it's good to have you here. So I want to get right to it.
Yeah.
Last hour we were talking about Spencer Pratt and how there's a poll that has him virtually tied with Raman and Bass, but there's one pollster that the California Post interviewed. He said, no, Pratt's doing a lot better than that in the internal polls for the candidates, because the traditional polls, they don't poll the kind of candidate, the kind of voters who go for Pratt. People who don't vote often, people who don't answer the phone or respond to an email because they're just not engaged in politics that way. And I've got to believe, well, you're doing very well. There's got to be a certain amount of that with you too. That a lot of people discussed it and are voting, and they usually don't really vote, especially in a primary.
And they may not say they're voting for a Republican. That's the other thing in my race for governor. It is a partisan race. So when people come and vote for me, there's an R right next to my name. With Spencer in LA, that's not the case. But I think that that's exactly right. It feels like this particular poll, that the really surprising thing to me in it is this idea that Nithya Raman is right up there, neck and neck with Spencer and Karen Bass. Her campaign seems to have basically imploded. And
I know.
The idea that she's right up there makes no sense to me. I've always said, actually, this particular poll, Berkeley.
Yes, Berkeley.
Has always marked us down. They've been polling the governor's race a lot. And there's 3 of them this week that were telegraphing that they were going to be out with polls during at the end of this week. One of them came out last night, PPIC. This was Berkeley. The governor portion of the Berkeley poll apparently is tomorrow. And then there's one more, the Emerson poll. All 3 of them have tended to mark me and other Republicans down. So we'll see.
Yeah, a lot depends. And it's hard for people to get into the demographics of the polling, and they're probably not interested anyway. But they often overweight certain demographics.
They do. And you
get skewed results.
Yeah. And one of the things that seems to make a real difference is whether they poll registered voters or likely voters.
Yes.
That makes a huge difference. And so you look at these polls. Look, from my point of view, I'm happy with one thing, which is that whichever poll you look at, as you mentioned at the top, we're basically in the top 2. Most of the polls I'm leading. There's another one that came out today where, like, some big numbers. You had Becerra and me 27 and 26, and then Steyer way behind, like 15 or something, and then Chad Bianco at 9.
Yeah.
So whichever poll you look at, I'm in the top 2.
I would think more people would be attracted to who's leading now, because just human nature is they want to go with the winner, and they're making decisions now too.
The only thing I would say is that there have been a couple that showed Tom Steyer rising, and so we are not yet out of the danger zone, or what I call the doomsday scenario, where something can happen where you end up with 2 Democrats. I don't think it's likely. I don't think that Steyer is catching up that much, but it's not impossible that we have Becerra Steyer, which of course is a total disaster for California.
One thing you've talked about, and we talked about,
and that's why we got to be really clear. We got to get me in the top 2.
That's right,
because otherwise, 2 Democrats. What a nightmare for all of us.
Yeah, that would be terrible. That would be a terrible 6 months of an election cycle and an even worse 4-year cycle to follow up. And we touched on this a little, I think, in our last phone conversation. And I've had Chad Bianco on our show many times over the years. He's a great guy and a great sheriff. And but at this point, if he doesn't have the votes that he needs, I think the Bianco voters should switch to you, because is there a major issue you actually disagree with Chad on?
No, not really. I mean, we've to a certain extent he's gone further on immigration than I would in terms of pathway to citizenship and so on. But then he says actually that's not what he meant, and so I think that basically the answer is no. And that's been apparent in these debates. We've had these TV debates, and often Chad and I are next to each other.
Yeah.
And we're kind of looking at each other like, can you believe these people?
Right.
Like, we really do have a common perspective on almost everything. And that's why I stay, I've always said my door's always open. I'd love to work with Chad. I'd love to have him as part of the team. And we've got to beat these Democrats. It's very important we have a united front.
That's what's most important, because they are all going to continue Newsom's policies and then some. And it seems if somebody is comfortable with Chad Bianco as governor, they'd be just as comfortable with you if they can get past whatever it is that they see as a difference between you and him. When one thing about the debates, I noticed you have a very clear style of speaking, right? You're very short and to the point, and you're describing things truthfully. And I rarely hear any of the Democratic candidates contradict what you're saying.
Yes, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, never a direct, Steve, that's wrong, and here's why you're wrong, and I'm right, and here's why I'm right. They don't do that. They just ignore it and then change the subject.
Exactly. Or just say, oh, you're Trump. That's all they've got to say.
Yeah.
And that actually points to a real truth about this election, which is that they don't have anything really to say, because the record. So when I'm pointing out what's gone wrong in California, 16 years of Democrat one-party rule, it's a total failure on every front. There's nothing they can point to that's gone well. We pay the highest taxes in the country for the worst results. I don't want to, bore everyone with a list. We all experience it every day. Everything's a disaster, and not just a disaster, the worst performance in the country on pretty much everything that matters. They can't defend that. They don't even try. When you ask them, what are they going to do in the future? And I put out something specific like your first $100,000 tax free, or we've got to get gas down to $3, or make housing more affordable by getting rid of the regulations, all these specific things. They don't disagree because it's common sense. And so all they've got are these politicized arguments about, I'm going to fight Trump and we need someone who's going to fight. They constantly go back to Trump.
Trump has nothing to do with all the biggest problems here in California.
Of course, I always say, like, Trump is also president in the 49 other states where gas is at least $2 cheaper than here.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
And you don't have the homeless in the 49 other states like you do here.
Exactly. And everything. Electric bills. I mean, on housing costs, the school results, everywhere you look, it's the worst performance. And that's why I think their entire campaign, I mean, it does look like the likely outcome if we had to put money on it. And by the way, that is what the betting markets are clearly showing, me against Javier Becerra. I mean, he's the living embodiment of more of the same. He couldn't even answer that question. I don't know if you saw that interview he did on CNN a couple of nights ago, with Alex Michelson, and he asked him basically that same question that Kamala Harris basically kind of killed her campaign when she was on The View. And they said, is there anything different you'd have done than Joe Biden? Oh, I can't. Nothing comes to mind.
Right.
He basically did that. Alex Michelson said, is there anything you disagree with in what's been, and how California's been governed these last few years, or what Gavin Newsom has done? Nothing. And his actual answer was, unbelievably, well, we're the 4th biggest economy in the world, so something must be going right. And lots of people are coming to Disneyland and going to the beaches. That's literally what he said. Are you kidding me? This is a joke.
All right, we'll talk more about Sarah when we come back. Steve Hilton, he's here in studio. You can watch us live on YouTube, running for governor. He's likely to be in the top 2, but you need to actually vote for him to get him there. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show. You want to subscribe, become a member. Deborah Mark live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. A federal judge is not going to block an order from President Trump to create federal voter lists and to limit voting by mail. U.S. and Iranian negotiators have apparently reached a tentative agreement to extend the ceasefire. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. We're going to the 5 next.
Lasting Smiles Dental Implants. We had a ton of listeners calling in for that April Spring Smile special. So I talked to the team at Lasting Smiles, and they were convinced to extend the deal into May. But now May is coming to an end. So they only have a limited number of spaces at these prices. And once these spots are gone, they're gone for good. If you have rotted, decayed teeth, you have just a horrific smile that frightens people, and you're shopping around for dental implants, looking for the right deal, this is the right deal. At Lasting Smiles, you get decades of experience in cutting-edge digital technology. And you can get a free comprehensive dental exam with full 3D imaging, plus the custom treatment plan built just for you. And they're offering payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit, and you can transform your smile and your life for $149 a month. You can do that. Offer limited, first come, first serve. Mention KFI or John to lock in the spot. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy. Slow on the 5 in Burbank.
It's the southbound side with delays backing up away from Alameda, staying slow all the way to the 605. Now, it's also tough in the Sepulveda Pass. This is the 405 southbound coming up on Skirball Center. That's where they take a few lanes away from you. The 3 right are off limits due to a brush fire that was burning off to the right side of that roadway. Delays from the 101. They've got the carpool and the 2 left open for business. And in Anaheim, the eastbound side of the 91 loading up almost from the 57 freeway to Green River. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
This June, the world comes to Los Angeles. Kick off FIFA World Cup 2026 at the FIFA Fan Festival at the iconic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. Watch matches live on giant screens. Feel every goal with thousands of fans. And celebrate with music, culture, and flavors from around the world. Join us June 11th through 14th, opening weekend, as the tournament kicks off in Los Angeles. Tickets are just $10 and kids under 12 are free. Get yours now at LosAngelesFWC26.com.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
As a founding partner of iHeart Women's Sports Network, Capital One is here to help you learn more about today's top athletes. Plus, Capital One offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts. Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One, N.A. member FDIC.
This report is sponsored by Hard Rock Casino Tejon. Your rewards worldwide. Join Unity by Hard Rock and earn rewards that you can redeem at participating Hard Rock locations across the globe. Play at Hard Rock Casino Tejon and get rewarded everywhere. Must be 21 years of age or older. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit. 800-225-8100.
L&K's Therapy Thursday is a podcast. The stories are real, the drama is messy, and the advice is life-changing. Catch it now on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts. L&K's Therapy Thursday, the podcast.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-506-9295. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-506-9295. That's 800-506-9295. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Earn points like a pro anywhere you go on eligible purchases with the new MyLowe's Pro Rewards American Express card. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval, exclusions and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
I am looking at this dish that I'm going to taste right now. It's sexy as hell, for one. It screams rustic, delicious. Yeah. The minute you see it, you say, not only is that beautiful, but I want that in my pie hole right now.
The Fork Report with Neil Saavedra, Saturday afternoon at 2 on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey guys, it's us, the Jonas Brothers. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nick. And guess what? We created our own podcast called Hey Jonas.
We invented a podcast?
Well, we didn't invent it. We just contributed to it.
We're the first people to do podcasts. We get to ask other people questions because we're sick and tired of being asked questions.
Well, sick and tired is a strong way to put it, but
tired and sick.
Tired and sick.
Listen to Hey Jonas on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Hey Jonas and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
The governor has called the state's large workforce back to the office.
The union that represents him says there's only one thing that's going to get them out of the house. It's going to court to block Newsom.
They say it's to save the trees.
That's tomorrow at noon. Monks and Mayoral on air and on the iHeartRadio app.
John Kobylt Show, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Moist Line, last chance to record your complaints. We're playing back tomorrow in the 5 o'clock hour, 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86. Or go to use the talkback feature on the iHeart app, and go to YouTube now if you want to watch me talk to Steve Hilton. He's live in the studio here running for governor. Looks like he's got an excellent chance of being in the top 2, but you actually have to vote for him to get him there. And you go to youtube.com/John Kobylt Show and subscribe and become a member. And Steve, we talk when you become governor, and you do have a long laundry list of things that you want to do. But what's the first 1 or 2 or 3 things? Because you've got to be focusing on certain reachable goals that you can get done fairly quickly. What would they be?
What I want to get done quickest is get more money into people's pockets, because we got a lot of changes that we need to make in how we do housing policy, energy policy, water, all these things. And to a certain extent, that takes a bit of time. We can start on day one. I've got a very clear plan for all of those things about how we're going to kick out the people in all the different bureaucratic agencies and replace them with common sense people, give them executive orders to get the water flowing to our farmers, the oil production increasing and all that kind of stuff. But it takes time for that to work through into gas prices. The quickest and simplest way of helping people who are really struggling is to take less money from them in taxes. It's really direct if you do that. And so on day one, I want to send to the legislature a budget that has those key tax changes. Number one, your first $100,000 tax free. And in fact, I'd like to see if we can find a way to increase that limit so that more people, because that's thousands of dollars directly to people, especially those who are struggling, working class Californians who are just, you got people, earning 75, 80, 90 grand, which doesn't get you very far. Particularly like here in LA, other parts of the state, $100,000 in many counties now is the official level for low income. And yet you got people under that level paying 9.3% state income tax. That's higher than the top rate in many other states. So I want that done. And then other specific things, vehicle registration, something that we can do very quickly, right? In most other states, it's under $100 to register your vehicle. Here, hundreds, 400, 500, 600. Some people paying over $1,000. I've heard people say over $2,000. I've said we're going to stop all that, a flat registration fee, $71 per vehicle per year. The small business tax, $800. Any business in California, before you do anything, before you make any money, you got to pay the government $800. For what? Even if you don't make any money. For a lot of small businesses, that is really crippling, like in terms of the amount of money they need to make. So these are the changes I want to get. No tax on tips. That's been implemented in federal taxes. But at the state level, most other states have introduced that for state taxes, not California. We're one of the few that haven't. These are all specific things which are money that we take, the government takes from people. And it's a simple thing. Don't take so much of our money. That's a very direct way of helping people.
I am shocked that Gavin Newsom could announce that, yes, we've lost track of $24 billion for homeless money. And we don't know where it went or if it did any good. And he says that, and then he just goes on with his life, and everybody shrugs. It's like, oh, well.
They don't care. You know, they're totally casual about our money. They don't appreciate the fact people work so hard, and they're really struggling in California. I see that the whole time. We're doing these events up and down the state, hundreds now, town halls, thousands of people coming out. I've met so many people, and you see it in their eyes. And, you know, we take a picture, we have a hug, we ask a question. The number one word that comes to mind from all those interactions now is struggle. It is such a struggle in California. They make everything so difficult, and they don't appreciate that. That's what makes me so angry about Newsom. Oh, yeah, spend this, spend that, invest in it. They use all these words.
Invest.
Like,
invest.
Yeah, that means take our money to put it into your pet projects, your bottomless money pit.
Is that what gets people most animated for all these town halls you've done? Is that the thing they get most intense about? And
the hassle, you know, like just everything is so hard. If you run a business, it's just one thing after another. The bureaucracy, the red tape. I mean, we did a couple of things actually really relevant to this that we did this week through Cal Doge that I set up at the beginning of the year. Actually, here's another day one thing, which is this definitely saves money. We looked into high-speed rail. We don't have to go over the insanity of that whole thing. We all know, right? But it's not just stupid and ridiculous and massive waste of money. We've now established that it's illegal, and here's why. The original proposition and legislation setting the whole thing up was very clear that it can only operate once it's operational. It cannot rely on public subsidy. It has to pay its own way. If you look in the details of their business plan that they just published, they say very clearly, we can't make it work financially, and we're going to need public subsidy. And so with my running mate for Attorney General, Michael Gates, and for State Controller, Herb Morgan, we made an announcement 2 days ago that because of that, we're going to stop all payments to high-speed rail on day one. That is a day one thing. No more money going into this. The other thing, just on the cost of all the red tape and bureaucracy, we did this yesterday in Sacramento, Cal Doge analysis. If you look at all the bloat and bureaucracy and nonsense, all these rules, regulations, we put a costing on it. $745 billion a year. Billion. That's nearly $1 trillion. It works out at $55,000 per household.
This is the cost of all the regulation
BS
to the rest of us. Yeah.
Yes. If we got rid of that, you know, Gavin Newsom keeps going on about how we're the fourth biggest economy in the world, which is true statistically, basically because they've doubled the size of the government. That's why we're such a large size.
Heavily weighted to the tech industry.
Tech industry, exactly. But actually, if we got rid of the red tape, that would actually make us the third biggest economy.
Right.
We'd overtake Germany in a good way because we'll be freeing up businesses to create jobs and wealth and opportunity.
All right, can you stay another segment?
Please.
All right, very good. Steve Hilton, he is running for governor. He's in the top two, number one in many polls. And if you go and you vote for him, he's the recommended choice on our voter guide list. You go to KFIAM640.com/voter guide. So is his controller, Herb Morgan, controller candidate, and Michael Gates, the Attorney General, and Gloria Romero, the Lieutenant Governor. That's a golden ticket.
There you go.
That you guys have put together. So they're all our recommendations to vote. And we'll do another segment with Steve Hilton. But first, Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
The latest poll from the UC Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies shows LA Mayor Bass in the lead for the mayor's race. The poll shows her with 26% support from likely voters. City Council member Nithya Raman has 25% support, and Community advocate Spencer Pratt has 22%. Pollsters call Bass's lead statistically insignificant. Raman and Pratt are each up by 8 percentage points since March. A new poll on the governor's race in California shows Javier Becerra and Steve Hilton still in the top spots just days before the primary election.
That's according to the latest poll from the Public Policy Institute of California. Becerra, a Democrat, is favored by 23% of likely voters. Hilton, a Republican, is favored by 20% of likely voters. Billionaire Democrat Tom Steyer is in third place with 15% support. He's followed by Republican Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco with 13% support and former Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter with 12% support. They're the only candidates polling in the double digits. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
Steve Hilton will be on with John for some more talk after the news. A federal judge has refused to block an order from President Trump to create a federal voter list and limit voting by mail. The judge rejected a request by Democrats and civil rights groups who argued the order would likely be found unconstitutional because the states and Congress, not the president, have the power to set election rules. Trump issued the order in March after a bill he supported to overhaul voting stalled in Congress. U.S. and Iranian negotiators have apparently reached a tentative agreement to extend the ceasefire by 60 days and start talks on Iran's nuclear program. President Trump would have to sign off on the memorandum of understanding. Former deputy commander of U.S. Central Command, retired Vice Admiral Robert Harward, says an extension could be part of Iran's strategy.
The Iranians believe if they can hold out, drag on negotiations like they've done their entire existence, that the president will feel political pressure at home and bend to the will of the American people who want cheaper oil prices.
Despite the existing ceasefire, Iran has threatened to attack an American air base in the region because of recent defensive strikes by the U.S. The Trump administration is working to get a 50-bed temporary facility in Kenya up and running by tomorrow to quarantine any Americans exposed to Ebola. Former White House COVID-19 response coordinator, Dr. Ashish Jha, says he thinks the Kenya operation is a big mistake.
Is there going to be volunteers there who might have an exposure, who are going to be tempted to not acknowledge it because they know if they do, they're going to be stuck in some camp in Kenya.
The Ebola outbreak in Central Africa is the second biggest on the continent in recent history. And a beekeeper in Riverside County has lost millions of bees.
Brandon Teller says he lost 80 hives when a more than 600-acre fire burned near Homeland last week. Teller owns Bee Doctor Bee Removal and says he rescues unwanted European honeybees from around Southern California and brings the hives back to his property in Riverside County to care for them. When the bees are healthy enough, he rents them out to farmers who pollinate their crops of alfalfa and almonds. He says losing the 3 to 4 million bees is going to be felt across Southern California, both for farmers and for consumers, and could even drive up food costs. Amy King, KFI News.
We're going to go to the 110 next.
Here's a question. How many brokers does it take to insure your business? If you're like most business owners, the answer is too many. Multiple policies, multiple applications, and no clear view of how it all fits together. And when questions come up, it's not easy to get the clarity you need. And SuperSure changes that. One broker for all your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. And if you've ever stared at a policy wondering what it actually covers, SuperSure has a fine print fax tool that translates the legal jargon into plain English, so you know what's covered and what's not. And right now, you can go to supersure.com and get a full report on your current policies with no obligation. And find out if you're overinsured, underinsured, somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Supersure.com, supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI. We have a chance of showers after midnight. It's going to be cloudy in the morning, partly cloudy in the afternoon. Highs low 70s metro LA, low to mid 70s for the valleys. Mid-60s to low 70s and windy in the high desert. Upper 60s to low 70s for the beaches and inland OC. Upper 60s to mid-70s in the IE and windy. Right now, 67 in San Juan Capistrano, and it's 71 in Stanton. Stall on the 110 in South LA.
So this one is along the southbound side of the 110 freeway. It looks like they're clearing it out of lanes to the right shoulder. Now we're going to flip that to the northbound side of the 110 at Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. It is off to the right shoulder. Delays are pretty heavy getting away from almost the 105. Now that southbound side of the 110 Also slow moving all the way out of Elysian Park from the 5 freeway and stretches as you continue all the way to Manchester Avenue. Still tough in the Sepulveda Pass. This is the 405 southbound coming up on Skirball Center, where they've got the 3 right lanes off limits, carpool 2 left open for business. But this is due to a brush fire burning off to the right side of the road up on the hillside there. And delays are loading up now, getting out of almost Van Nuys, slowing from Victory Boulevard. Also very tough as you make your way into, looks like it's the Cajon Pass. Make that Glen Helen on the 15 northbound Glen Helen Parkway. Left lane is blocked. This is due to a wreck with a slow drive away from the 60. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Decisions determine results. So which path do I want to take? Help people in need or stand on the sidelines watching? Worry about how to pay for school or have my education paid for? Push myself and learn new skills or stay the same? My decision is to serve part-time with the Army National Guard, and my results will be life-changing. What will you decide? Go to NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Sponsored by the California Army National Guard. Aired by the California Broadcasters.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed hit. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. Again, that's iHeartAdvertising.com.
I feel incredible because I called 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
I'm Joseph Cabrera. And like many Californians, I'm tired of watching our state fall behind while politicians keep making promises they never deliver. While roads are crumbling, families are struggling with rising costs, homelessness, and mental health crisis continue growing while billions of tax dollars sit unused in Sacramento. Enough is enough. Basta. Ya basta. I'm Joseph Cabrera, candidate for governor. I'd be honored to earn your vote.
Disclaimer. Paid for by the Joseph Cabrera for Governor 2026 Committee.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
KFI. More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are on from 3 to 6, after 6 o'clock, John Kobylt Show on demand. Jamie Paige is coming on with us right after 5 o'clock because she has discovered that some of the socialist candidates in the LA City elections, you know, the group that hates billionaires, are getting tremendous amount of funding from billionaires. It's Jamie Paige will be on to explain. I also want to ask her about her talks with that political insider who said Pratt's actually doing significantly better in the internal polls than what is being released in the public polls. And he's doing well in both. All right. Steve Hilton is here with us. And if you go to YouTube, you could see him sitting across from me. We're live on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@JohnKobylt Show, and you can subscribe or become a member. All right. So Matt Finn from the Fox News Channel, he's an LA correspondent. He posted on X. He went to a Javier Becerra Get Out the Vote event at a bar in West Hollywood. It's past the starting time of noon at the time he posted the photo, and he writes, there's about 10 people in the crowd. There's more media here. An organizer just asked people to get on social media and invite more supporters. And I was telling you, I have yet to run into Javier Becerra supporters on the west side of LA, which presumably would be a voting stronghold.
So this is hilarious. And it just shows you there's just no enthusiasm on the Democrat side for their candidates, whereas on our side, there's a lot of energy. You see it here. We see it in our campaign. You see it for Spencer, obviously, in LA. We do events. We've got, one tomorrow, we've got many over the weekend. We're getting hundreds of people show up.
Mm-hmm.
We did one in Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, just the other day. We had 500 people. They showed us a bit in the same room.
Yeah.
Tom Steyer was there 4 days earlier. He had about 30 people. We posted the photos. It's like there's some things, they're not inspired by their candidates. And you can see why. I mean, Becerra, I think you always want to be, fair about. There's a lot to get into with him. He is a target-rich environment. But the basic point about him is that he's just, he really reminds me, maybe a weird thing to say, of Joe Biden. I remember when I used to talk about Joe Biden.
Yeah,
he's a kind of nothing, actually. And he's
just bounced around. Yeah, he's just the process.
And I always think of Becerra, he's like an amiable mediocrity. There's nothing there. He was hopeless when he had one executive job in HHS. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we can get into with his record there. All these other 36 years, he's been a career politician. And these legislators, they don't have to do anything. They just sort of walk, and all he does is suck up to the unions and the activist groups. You see Becerra's ads all day long, all the logos of all these left-wing groups and unions that are backing him. He's a creature of the Democrat machine. He's like the living embodiment of more of the same. That's why I think we've got a real shot at beating him.
Yeah, well, he's an accidental candidate.
Exactly.
Because he was so low in the polls at USC, they didn't want to allow him in the debate. And then Swalwell found out the truth about his life, and then everything got shook up. But he was appointed to be Attorney General here in California. He was appointed by Biden to be the Health and Human Services Secretary. Right. He hasn't really won even a statewide race for anything.
He's just, this is what you get. Actually, I've seen it many times, when you have a party machine that's been in control for too long, it throws up these kinds of people who are just, they don't really stand for anything. They got nothing really to offer. They're just good at playing the game and pandering to all the different groups. Karen Bass is very similar.
Yeah, same thing.
Career politician. She was in the state legislature and Congress, and then here she is. Newsom's the same. Biden's the same. Kamala Harris. That's what they're like. In a way, they're the most dangerous. If you've got someone who actually stands for something and believes in something, at least you know what you're dealing with, and you can argue on the basis of principles. You can kind of predict what they'll be like, what their response will be to things. These kind of empty suit machine politicians, you have no idea. They'll just go with whatever, wherever the pressure comes from. They're really dangerous.
And that's why he's not offering even one change from the Newsom policies.
Not one. It's incredible to me that it's just like with Kamala in that interview. You think, you haven't thought of that? You haven't thought of all these months.
Nothing bothers him about the way California, he's got to live here too, right?
And then
he's seeing what we're seeing.
He said, okay, first of all, it was like, we're the fourth biggest economy and people like going to Disneyland. Unbelievable answer. And then incredulously, Alex Michael said, what, so nothing? You'll do nothing different? He pushed and he said, well, we'll get things done. Like what? What's that mean? It's just total empty nonsense. Oh, we'll build house. How? What? How are you going to build housing if you're not going to change the policies that have made us have the highest housing costs in the country? If you can't point to a single thing that you do differently, he's just, honestly, I'm really looking forward to the next phase of this because it's going to be much clearer. One of the problems in this governor's race is you got all these candidates, this top two system. Everyone's talking about the math and who makes the top two, whatever, rather than just getting into the central question, which is, do we want another 4 years of this or do we want change?
I see 10 polling stories for every one about a single issue that really matters to people, like where the homeless money went, where'd the high-speed rail money go.
Exactly.
There's one thing about him before we wrap this up. He was Health and Human Services Secretary, and when they opened the border, he was given the job of tracking the 85,000 unaccompanied minors. These are underage minors, And one answer he gave, because somebody said, is like they ended up, many of these kids ended up working at slaughterhouses. And his response was, well, they needed to work.
I know. Amazing. Amazing. This is like the same attitude. Like the other day, he said something about, well, we need to have illegal immigration. Who's going to pick our crops? It's just this real, dangerous attitude. By the way, that story is going to get a lot worse for him. We've been talking to whistleblowers in that story. It's way worse than kids being in slaughterhouses. And the number is way higher probably than the 85,000. The New York Times reporter, won a Pulitzer Prize for this, actually updated her story to coincide with one of the governor's debates. If you read it carefully, the actual number is about 250,000. And it's not just accident like he didn't know. They were pushed out by him, Becerra, specifically because he didn't want the optics of having kids in cages because of all the stuff that they said about Trump. So he instructed them to send these kids out without vetting, actually fired the people who were doing the vetting of the places the kids were going to go. I mean, he is directly responsible.
So they could work in sweatshops and slaughterhouses.
And be trafficked for sex.
Sex trafficked, yeah. Exactly. Well, that was a good solution. Yeah,
I mean, it's really bad. And so he's got a lot of serious, there's that. There's the corruption scandal that he's absolutely enmeshed in, and that's not going to go away.
Right.
I mean, I won't have time to get into the details. And there's also his connection to this group, Churla, this immigrant rights organization. That is going to come after him. That is a group that is basically taxpayer funded, 85% of their income to taxpayer. We did an investigation at CalDOJ. They now openly admit that they're employing illegal immigrants to do campaign work, including for Becerra, with taxpayer money. They are connected to all sorts of nefarious activity coming out of Mexico.
Well, they were supplying a lot of the instigation for the ICE riots back in June.
So there's going to be a lot that comes out about Becerra. I'm very confident of it. So this guy, I mean, they may be all excited about him. Well, actually, they're not excited. That was showing up.
No, they couldn't even get 10 people here in West Hollywood.
Amazing.
That's a pretty densely populated area, West Hollywood.
Amazing.
I would think that's a politically rich environment for him. So that could be a sign. Well, Steve, I think you're the guy to do it. And I wish you the best of luck. And I think we'll talk before Election Day again.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a wild ride for about 6 months.
Well, it was fun to be with you today. Great to see you, John.
Good
Thank
to
you.
finally meet you. Steve Hilton. And he is running for governor and doing really well, but you have to really vote for him. And Election Day is coming up on Tuesday, or find your mail-in ballot and get to work here. So we have a competitive race with Javier Becerra. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. A man from L.A. who allegedly killed his girlfriend and then fled with their 5-year-old daughter to Mexico has been charged with murder and child abuse. Governor Newsom announces his endorsement for mayor of L.A. We'll have more at the top of the hour. We are going to the 4:05 next.
Memorial Day was a time to honor great service. At American Vision Windows, their family is now looking out for your family. From May 17th through the end of the month, take advantage of their Memorial Day sale. Yeah, it's still going on. And save 25% on your entire project. And as a token of appreciation, they're including a free Sun Matrix upgrade, a genuine glow-up for your home's comfort and utility savings. That's air conditioning and heating and all the rest. They've installed over 1 million windows for California homeowners. Most jobs get done in a day. Save 25%. Get your Sun Matrix upgrade before May 31st. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see the website for details. American Vision Windows is America's most trusted window replacement company. So go to their website, AmericanVisionWindows.com, AmericanVisionWindows.com, or call them now, 888-771-2188, 888-771-2188.
From the Odoo.com Weather Center, Odoo, the only business software you need. Partly cloudy tomorrow, high 60s and 70s. This report brought to you by Mattress Firm. From your Toyota dealer's traffic center, we make it easy, slow on the 405 in Irvine.
Side and that drive really crowded. 133 freeway, heavy and slow all the way to Brookhurst in Fountain Valley. The 5 northbound in Irvine also slowing from the 133 all the way to Harbor in Anaheim. Tough in Norwalk, 605 northbound, backing up off of the 105 as you travel in stretches towards the 10. And it is slow heading into Glen Helen. This is a crash on the 15, making your way northbound, and that's coming right up on Glen Helen Parkway. Looks like a crash in the left lane sends you back from Harupa Street. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm's sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm. They make sleep easy.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit, 800-225-8100. If you've seen termites, wings, or droppings, it's time to call Pacific Coast Termite for a free written inspection. And with Pacific Coast Termite, they use orange oil and Ultraset for treatment. There's no tenting, no move out, and no pumping your home with poisonous gas. You, the kids, and pets can even stay home while they work. Call now for a 10% discount on termite services and a free 2-year warranty. Plus, get 90-day same-as-cash financing on approved credit. Call 800-PACIFIC. Some restrictions apply.
In this edition of the Marketers Report, Monica Tam, head of brand media for DoorDash, discusses the power of audio influencers.
Everyone can advertise and say the same thing. I think it holds different weight when it comes from somebody that you inherently trust and listen to every day. And I think when you're tapping into voices like hosts and podcasters, you're being able to be part of that community, but in a very authentic way so that it does not come off as like I'm trying to preach to you what to buy, but actually being from a position of here is how DoorDash can provide relief, or here's how we can be additive to your day-to-day.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia connects marketers to all the audiences, live conversations, trusted influencers, and the insights and data you need to grow, and all guaranteed human. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartAdvertising.com.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds. You can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
They broke the law to get here, then broke our laws again.
Violent offenders, repeat criminals, people who put our families at risk. But young Kim voted to prevent deportation of convicted criminals. That's why she received a D.
I fear for my kids' safety, whether walking home or hanging out with their friends. Safety isn't political, it's fundamental.
Young Kim, good for criminals, bad for our children. Americans for Security PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by Americans for Security PAC.
This is KFI.
Yeah, we're getting different stories, how unusual, and you notice that there really is no timeline anymore.
Bill Handel, tomorrow morning at 6 on KFI AM 640.
It used to be if Iran doesn't come to the table, doesn't stop its nuclear enrichment program, you've got until Wednesday night. Timelines are gone. And now it's simply a question of if Iran doesn't come to the table soon, this thing is going to blow up.
More stimulating talk.
48 countries.
Only one winner.
iHeartRadio and Fox Sports are bringing you every match of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Live. Every unforgettable moment wherever you are. Lock in your preset now on the free iHeartRadio app.
The world will be listening.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
Coming up on the next Gary and Shannon show.
We may have reached peak America. Now dogs are shooting people.
Gary and Shannon show starts tomorrow morning at 9.
KFI AM 640. I get blamed for everything. Stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. Hey, we just had Steve Hilton on, huh? Oh, you're just joining us and you missed it. Well, that's what we have the YouTube recorded live stream for. Well, I guess if it's recorded, it's not a live stream. But anyway, the live stream is recorded. It'll be posted up there at 6 o'clock. And you can also obviously listen to the podcast and listen to the audio of it. YouTube.com / at John Kobylt Show for the live stream. And then you go to the iHeartRadio app for John Kobylt Show on Demand, the podcast. Oh, yes. We have 2 new members. We have CZRHNDS. Scissorhands. Thank you. That became a YouTube member. Well, thank you, Scissorhands. And then Carlos Maya, 9641, became a YouTube member. All right. Thank you very much. And then Super Chat, Steve Hilton for governor, accept no substitutes, make California sane again. And did Steve send that in? No. Terry Windsor, 1310. All right. Thank you very much for everybody who's participating. And well, I'll go to door on this one. You need to get Hilton into the top 2 here. My God, do you want to wake up on Wednesday morning and know that there's going to be 6 months of Javier Baccaria and Tom Steyer? And Steyer's a flat-out weirdo. Baccaria is just a dunce.
Javier Baccaria.
Steyer makes me uncomfortable, and I don't know why. Just there's like a creepiness to him. All right. Let me set this up. Jamie Paige is coming on in just a few minutes. It looks like, we have a lot of socialists running. Boy, this really blew up in the last few years. If you wonder why we're going to hell rapidly, the socialist influence from the DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America Party, they got 4 seats, including Nithya Raman. They have the city controller, and they want more offices. And there's a city attorney candidate who's running against John McKinney, who I'm voting for, who works in the DA's office as a deputy DA. But now he wants to become city attorney. And running against him is someone named Marissa Roy. She got almost $1.5 million from a super PAC backed by billionaires. This is the strangest thing. You have a set of billionaires backing a group of socialists who want to get rid of all the billionaires, or at least tax them out of existence. I don't know what's going on. And Eunices Hernandez, who wants to defund the police, has picked up $300,000 from the same groups. She's the one who has that disgusting, horrible cesspool known as MacArthur Park, literally a cesspool. There's literally dead bodies in there that she refuses to have anybody go and pull out. She blocked a mission that would have retrieved the dead bodies that the gang members have been dumping into MacArthur Park. Well, she's getting $300,000 from this billionaire group. A West Side candidate who's running against Tracy Park. I'm not even going to mention her name. I don't want this lady to get any publicity, any name recognition at all, because she's a Mike Bonin type. And she's the one who wrote the mansion tax on homes that sell for more than $5 million. And that backfired spectacularly, because now nobody wants to build any like apartment buildings. Apartment buildings are grouped under the mansion tax, and you can't get developers to build apartments, and then they're going to get charged 5% when they want to sell them. Forget about it. So all they did is made the housing situation even worse because they're so stupid. Nithya Raman. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, Nithya Raman's tongue has miraculously healed. Did you hear?
How did that happen?
Daniel Gus attended the, I don't know if he's attending the city council meeting or he's watching the live stream of it, but she's there. She's there. She's attending it. She couldn't go on Channel 5 yesterday with Michael Ullman. And Michael Ullman went on TV and said that she has a tongue injury, a mysterious tongue injury. Nothing was explained. And now I figured she's going to be laid up for a week, right? You pull your tongue or you strain your tongue, you bite your tongue, whatever happened to that poor tongue. But there she is sitting there.
Tongue's healed.
Apparently, overnight. I guess maybe she had a healer lay their hands on her tongue.
Well, I mean, she does need her tongue.
So she was back at, I was going to say back at work, but not exactly. So anyway, the socialists, Jamie Paige is going to come on and talk about the socialists getting billionaire money. And then I've got to talk to her also about this political insider who said Even though the polls show Bass and Raman and Pratt in like a three-way jumble, Pratt's actually doing quite a bit better than that in internal polls. And those are important. I'll explain why as well. The internal polls, because the candidate is paying for them and the staff wants to know what's really going on. They tend to be a better bet than the public polls, which are biased for one reason or another. All right. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.
Charged. I'm Deborah Mark, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A man wanted for the murder of his wife and abducting their daughter and going to Mexico this week has been charged by the LA County DA's office. DA Hockman says Ruben Fregoso Juarez will face his day in court, and the Family Violence Division will work with federal and Mexican law enforcement authorities to get justice for the woman and child. Hockman says the man faces life in prison if convicted as charged. Police are continuing to investigate what they suspect could be a murder-suicide in North Hills. They say 2 children, a 2-year-old boy and a 6-day-old baby girl, and 2 adults were shot to death. Police say they can't confirm whether the kid's mother was the shooter. Founder of the organization Life After Birth, Molly Normand, tells KTLA new moms can sometimes have perinatal mood and anxiety disorders.
That can include infanticide, which is killing the baby.
She says most new moms will experience baby blues for a couple of weeks after giving birth. The first private civil lawsuit is being filed in L.A. by a couple alleging rent gouging after the Eaton fire in Altadena. Randy and Candy Rennick say they had to leave their home of 18 years because of the fire and were charged nearly $15,000 a month for a rental in Gliselle Park.
Not really realizing that we were being overcharged by nearly 3 times what the price gouging laws allow.
She tells KTLA it was hard to find a place to rent because so many people had been displaced. She says even after the landlord did get a letter saying that the Rennicks were being illegally charged, they kept on overcharging them for 9 months. Governor Newsom has formally endorsed L.A. Mayor Bass for re-election.
Newsom made the announcement today, saying the work Bass is doing is making our entire state stronger. He cites a decline in homelessness in the city while it grew nationally, a decrease in violent crime, a boost in film production, and Bass's work to protect communities against ICE raids. A new UC Berkeley poll has Bass in the lead with support from 26% of likely voters, but her main challengers, City Councilwoman Nithya Raman and former reality personality Spencer Pratt, are both within just 4 points of her. Mark Ronner, KFI News.
A huge fire has destroyed a 2-story apartment building in Dallas, causing fatalities and injuring at least 4 people. Deputy Fire Chief Mark Berry says they've gone from rescue mode to recovery mode.
We are still actively in recovery mode, and we may be in this mode, maybe extending this operation.
City officials say there was no city maintenance work going on at the scene at the time of the explosion. Crews have recovered 6 of 9 workers missing and presumed dead after a chemical tank rupture in Washington state. The total death toll is now 11, including 3 who are still missing. Officials say the paper mill tank ruptured and spilled more than 500,000 gallons of a highly destructive chemical mixture used in paper manufacturing at the company in Longview. U.S. officials say there could be a tentative plan between the U.S. and Iran that would extend a ceasefire for 60 days while negotiations on Iran's nuclear program happen. The tentative framework could also see the Strait of Hormuz gradually reopen. The deal needs to be signed off by both President Trump and the Iranians, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says things are at a delicate point.
The teams have been going back and forth, and President Trump has made it very clear, he talked about it at the cabinet meeting, that he has several red lines.
A post on Iranian state media says Iranian officials are denying reports that the text of this latest memorandum has been finalized. And AI money is raising the price of already high-priced homes.
Real estate company Redfin says the price of luxury homes have gone up while less expensive properties in the same areas have gone down. The biggest jump's been in the San Francisco Bay Area, ground zero for the artificial intelligence boom. The latest figures say the median price for a luxury home in San Fran has hit a record $2.15 million. Realtors say AI workers are paying all cash, and they're paying another $50,000 to make sure their home internet connection is top tier. Michael Crozier, KFI News.
Going to the 710 next.
Lasting Smiles Dental Implants. We had a huge response for their April Smile special, so I got them to extend it into May. But they're only offering a limited number of spots at these prices. If you've been dealing with ugly, missing teeth, rotted out mouth, and you're waiting for the right deal to end the misery, well, this is the right deal. You'll get a free comprehensive dental exam with 3D imaging, a custom treatment plan. Payments as low as $149 a month on approved credit. $149. It's limited. First come, first serve. To get a spot, mention KFI or John to lock it in. LastingSmiles.com. Call 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE. 844-GO-SMILE.
Southland weather from KFI. Chance of showers after midnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow. Highs in the low 70s for Metro LA. Low to mid 70s in the valleys. Mid 60s to low 70s. And windy in the high desert. Upper 60s to low 70s for the beaches in inland OC. Upper 60s to mid 70s in the IE, and windy there. Right now, 68 in Dana Point, 70 in Anaheim, 65 Diamond Bar is 64 in Simi Valley. The KFI Financial Update brought to you by Supersure, supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your business insurance in one place. The Dow closed up 25, S&P 500 up 43, NASDAQ up 243. Road work on the 710, Cudahy.
This is on the southbound side coming up on Firestone. And thanks to trucker Les, called and told us about this one. Not only is the right lane South 710 at Firestone off limits, I took a little closer look. It looks like the off ramp is off limits as well. Big delays here for that 710 southbound. You're backing up all the way from just before the 60 freeway. Tough on the 60 as well. Eastbound getting out of East LA. That's a slow drive away from about Lorena Street. Delays continue all the way to the 605. And the 10 eastbound pushing back out of City Terrace from City Terrace Drive and stretches to Azusa with Southern California's most accurate traffic reports. I'm Angel Martinez.
Only a few weekends of racing at Santa Anita Parks Hollywood meet every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Experience racing excitement with Uncorked Wine Festival, Fiesta de Santa Anita, and Bomberos Car Show and closing day on June 14th with mandatory payouts on all pools. Weekend admission, parking in a program, just $10. Every Friday, enjoy free admission and parking plus all day 50% off happy hour. With millions in payouts every race day, explore new experiences at the Great Race Place by visiting santaanita.com/events.
With iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio host's product recommendations. If you manage a business or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way. Call 844-844-iHeart. Again, that's 844-844-iHeart.
Ellen K's Therapy Thursday is now a podcast. One confession can turn into a full-on phone explosion. Hear the drama, the heartbreak, and the advice everyone's talking about on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Ellen K's Therapy Thursday, the podcast.
Hi, this is Dave Roberts. Heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, that's a risk. That's why everyone needs a medical emergency kit at urgentcarekit.com/blue.
If you're living with constant knee pain and you're dreading surgery, no fun, let me tell you about Hoag Orthopedic Institute. Their award-winning knee specialists are changing how knee pain is treated. Call 800-919-2000 or visit HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. That's H-O-A-G, HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. Locations throughout Southern California, proudly physician-owned. That's HoagOrthopedicInstitute.com. Call 800-919-2000.
It happens only once a year in Las Vegas.
Our legendary iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One,
Is back.
Put your hands in the air.
One stage, 2 nights.
Are you ready? Featuring the biggest names in music. Live, loud, and always full of surprises.
We're getting this party going, huh?
Hear it live on iHeartRadio and streaming live on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Listen for the reveal of our 2026 iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Tuesday morning at 8.
KFI AM 640. An iHeartRadio station. Guaranteed human.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We are on the John Kobylt Show here every day from 3 to 6. After 6, John Kobylt Show on demand podcast live on YouTube, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. Come and watch right now. We just had Steve Hilton on for 45 minutes, so you could see that at 6 o'clock when it becomes recorded online and also on the iHeart app as well for the audio. And we have been tracking the big mystery of the day is what happened to Nithya Raman's tongue. She could not appear on Channel 5 yesterday with Michael Ullman, they said, because of a tongue injury. And Daniel Gus the journalist, the local journalist, he has been monitoring the city council meeting, and she is there, and she appears still to have her tongue intact. And I just wrote to him saying, well, what was the injury, first of all? And is she able to speak? Hold on, I just got a response back. No word. But she was there today speaking normally and participating until the meeting adjourned 30 minutes ago. So I don't even know if this tongue injury is true. But boy, that's a weird fake excuse to give to dodge a TV interview.
Yeah, I think she would have come up with something different if it wasn't true. I don't know.
But it healed fast. How bad could it be? I expected her to be spitting out bits of her tongue at the meeting.
Oh,
the way. All right. We got Jamie Paige coming on now. Jamie Paige is a great reporter for the California Post who's uncovered just all kinds of crazy stories about the corruption and incompetence going on in the city. And now, would you believe, she has found that a number of these socialist candidates for LA office who hate billionaires and want to tax them out of existence, well, they're getting lots of money from the billionaires. Jamie Paige, welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, John?
I am good. How did you come across this information?
Our city ethics website, you can go through who's spending on what. It takes a little bit of digging, but there was some unusual large amounts that were coming in last minute, especially for Marissa Roy for city attorney. So she went from $700,000 to $1.4 million in this last dump. So just taking a closer look at the numbers and seeing who and how they're spending.
Having a socialist city attorney, boy, that sounds like bad news to me. And a lot of this is name recognition when you're on the ballot. And if she's got $1.5 million extra dollars to get her name out there, that could be significant because nobody really tracks this kind of race.
It is significant, and I've done several stories on her, and I think it's worth reading up on because she, among some of the outlandish ideas that she has is a 100-day moratorium on misdemeanors if she's elected in office.
Whoa.
And misdemeanors in our city include sexual assault, driving under the influence. There's a number of them that would fall under that 100-day moratorium. So we would be going back to some problematic days that we saw under our last DA.
Yeah, that is Gascon style justice there. So she wants a moratorium on prosecuting all the misdemeanors for 100 days. Why just 100 days?
That's a good question. It was just part of let's get in office and figure things out and look at justice reform. And that was a number in the report that they had come up with to apparently be able to come up with some of this criminal and justice reform.
I'm sorry. Why would anybody vote for a city attorney who's going to stop prosecuting lawbreakers? But of course, they did elect Gascon, the people in this nut house. That's crazy.
Yeah. And the billionaire donors, it's important to know as well that this is who they back and why they back them is because they do want soft on crime in our city. I noted in my story that they're all Bay Area billionaires, so they don't live in the city. They don't have to deal with the impact. I talked to a couple political analysts who went on the record with me and said just that. The money is being, poured into our elections, but they're not the moms who have to walk by encampments when they bring their kids to school.
All right. But these billionaires, and I notice often they're the wives of the billionaires, they're pouring all this money from the San Francisco area here. What's the motivation? What do they get out of this by allowing criminals not to be prosecuted 500 miles from their homes? What's the upside for them?
Well, if you look into some of the organizations that they support, so part of following money right now is looking at organizations and then seeing who is donating to them, right? So there's never a direct path, but there is a link, and it's Smart Justice California and Progressive Reforms. That's what all of these orgs that they pour money into and back our socialists, democratic socialists. This is what the common denominator is they want to see us have soft on crime, progressive policies.
Right. Okay. But they're dismantling the criminal justice system, but that only leads to chaos, and it leads to innocent people getting harmed. Why do these billionaires and their wives want this? Why do they want people to be harmed?
If they answer my emails, I would know. In the story, this first started with George Casgon. This was the first kind of paper trail that we saw, or money trail, if you will. And we all know firsthand what happened when his experiments failed. We saw just small crime numbers go up, smash and grabs, 136%. They rose when he was in office. So we've seen it firsthand what the effects and impacts can have on our city when we take these roads.
You list major donors. There's a graphic in your story. Patty Quillen, Elizabeth Simons, Caitlin Krieger, Quinn Delaney, 4 middle-aged women, wealthy, married to very wealthy men, in a lot of cases billionaires, and they're providing the money. Patty Quillen is the wife of the Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings. They financed George Gascon a few years ago. Hastings is worth about $5 billion of all those Netflix subscriptions you're all paying for. And Elizabeth Simon is the daughter of the hedge fund executive Jim Simons. He had $30 billion. Caitlin Krieger is a Democratic donor married into a tech fortune worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And Quinn Delaney, an heiress to the $8 billion plus Cliff Bar empire. And so these poor women are donating every dollar they can legally to these social justice groups and these campaigns who basically want to destroy the whole criminal justice system.
And this is the group that also goes on social media time and time again and says that they are not backed by billionaires, that they're not bots, but they are. They do take donations from billionaires. And I think it's, hypocritical at best to say that these campaign, lies that they put out there. It's just really important to read and do your due diligence when you're looking at elections and the outcomes of them.
So the socialist candidates preach against billionaires, then they have billionaires contribute ungodly amounts of money to their campaigns so they could destroy the criminal justice system. I'm just not tracking all this. Can you stay on another segment? You got time?
I can.
Yeah, okay, because I wanted to talk to you about this other story you had about a particular insider who says internal campaign polls may have Pratt doing even better than the public polls. That's next, and we're talking with Jamie Paige from the California Post, Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. A threat from the Department of Homeland Security could affect international travel at LAX. Rescuers are trying to get to 4 climbers who have fallen on Alaska's Mount McKinley. We'll have more at the bottom of the hour. Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow, high 60s and 70s. This report brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. From your Toyota Dealers Traffic Center, we make it easy. Crash on the 170 in North Hollywood.
This is on the southbound side, and it's just before the 134 freeway. Kind of low on details other than it's a 3-car crash. And from what the Highway Patrol says, they said advising still blocking traffic. Freeway Service Patrol on the scene, so they're trying to get things situated, but I'm looking at that southbound side of the 170, and that is a tough drive getting away from Victory Boulevard. If you see it, pound 250, keyword KFI traffic, slowing in Burbank, South 5 from Olive all the way to the 605. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Ad paid for by JobsPack, a bipartisan coalition of California employers sponsored by the California Chamber of Commerce, top funder Edison International and affiliated entities. This advertisement was not authorized by a candidate or a committee controlled by a candidate. Some people run for office to get rich on the backs of taxpayers. Retired Colonel Tom Umberg is running for Board of Equalization to hold them accountable. 3 overseas deployments. Army Special Operations paratrooper. Served in Afghanistan And here in the Bronze Star doing it. Back home, he prosecuted sex offenders and took on white-collar fraud. As a state senator, he returned hundreds of millions of tax dollars to our community. Decade after decade, one thing has never changed. Tom Umberg fights for accountability. And he fights for us. Vote Colonel Tom Umberg. Use of retired Colonel Tom Umberg's military rank and job titles does not imply endorsement by the Department of the Army or the Department of Defense.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Just call Sweet James at 1-800-9-million. Just call Sweet James, your accident attorney.
Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Office in Los Angeles, California, and sweetjames.com.
Are you like millions of Americans who avoided filing their taxes this year because you're afraid you will owe the IRS thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, you don't need to be afraid anymore. Tax Relief Advocates has the solution. We can file your back tax years and may be able to reduce or even eliminate what you owe. With over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, we've helped over 100,000 Americans just like you permanently and painlessly resolve their IRS debt. A resolution specialist is waiting to speak to you now, who will let you know what tax debt reduction you may qualify for. Don't wait. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call our tax relief hotline now to see what you qualify for at 800-511-0719. 800-511-0719. Again, that's 800-511-0719. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people. Stream the primary elections live on Fox Local on Fox One. Stay informed with breaking news, race updates, and results in real time. Fox One brings all your favorite Fox channels together. Stream now. Watch 3 days free. For details, visit fox.com.
The next 3 years, LA will welcome the world with major events unmatched by any destination. This moment is bigger than sports. It's about the impact on our communities, businesses, and people. With the help of the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission foundational partners, Amgen, Archer Aviation, Kaiser Permanente, LA Tourism, and Metro, we're investing in the LA community and inspiring civic pride. Together, let's show the world why we love LA. To learn more about the FIFA World Cup coming this June, visit LosAngelesFWC26.com.
Are you avoiding shorts or dresses because of your varicose veins? You find yourself covering up, feeling self-conscious about how your legs look? Don't wait another minute. West Medical can treat varicose veins in under an hour with no downtime. That's right. One simple call and a quick procedure can help you feel confident again. Most treatments are affordable and covered by PPO insurance. Love your legs again. Feel incredible. Call 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL today. That's 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL or go to westmedical.com.
I feel incredible because I called 1-800-WEST-MEDICAL.
Gary and Shannon.
If you got caught with a sex tape and you had to call your mom to apologize,
Go on.
would you then have her field your media calls for you?
There was conjecture this video was leaked on purpose by my son.
Tomorrow, 9 to noon on KFI AM 640.
I don't think so.
Mom, can you
And I would
CNN
just say,
and Fox News today? I'm busy with The Athletic.
I would say, hey, Mom, if somebody calls and wants you to do an interview,
More stimulating talk.
just say no.
Hey guys, it's us, the Jonas Brothers. I'm Joe.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Nick. And guess what? We created our own podcast called Hey Jonas.
We
invented a podcast? Well, we didn't invent it. We just contributed to it.
first people
to do podcasts. We get to ask other people questions because we're sick and tired of being asked questions. Well, sick and tired is a strong way to put it, but tired and sick. Tired and sick. Listen to Hey Jonas on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow Hey Jonas and start listening on the free iHeartRadio app today.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. John Kobylt Show. And we're live on YouTube right now. To subscribe or be a member, youtube.com/@John Kobylt Show. And we have a special live stream tomorrow at 11 in the morning. You can watch it. This one's free. Special live stream at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning on YouTube. And we're going to talk a lot about the election because we're in the final days. Now, we continue with Jamie Paige from the California Post. And Jamie, you also have a story. LA Times, UC Berkeley had a poll today. Bass 26, Raman 25, Pratt 22. It's congested. They're all within the margin of error. But for people who thought Pratt would be doing a little better, you're saying internal polls indicate he is doing better than that. Why don't you explain who you talked to and what they know?
I talked to a couple people this morning about the poll. It seemed, it didn't seem strange. I just wanted to ask about the numbers. And 3 people back to back had told me it's not the polling that they were seeing internally. They said that the numbers were closer to Bass and Pratt leading the top 2. They gave me numbers, Bass with 32%, Pratt with 30%, and Raman lagging at 18%. I called Rick Taylor. I don't know if you've had him on the show, but he's got 50 years of experience in LA politics. So he broke it down for me about where he saw the errors in the latest poll that were released and what insiders are saying what the numbers are.
And yeah, according to your article, what he's saying is that the Pratt voters are not necessarily reachable in the same way as Bass and Raman voters. I suppose they probably don't vote as often, so they're not considered likely voters.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they go to, the same group of people and they ask the same questions. And Pratt in this race, as we all know, is doing a great job of reaching folks who have never voted before. I've been following him on the campaign trail and seeing it firsthand. When I go to his events, I ask, have you voted before? The majority of the people say, this is my first time. I ask them why. And those are the answers we're getting are the same things that we're seeing on social media. Moms are showing up in droves saying they're tired of their kids being scared. They're tired of walking past encampments. So a lot of passion behind moms, younger first-time voters, a lot of people who are just energized about this race. I do point out in my story that we still have an incredibly low turnout, which was expected. But what I've been told is Saturday, the number that we see on Saturday, we can double that. And that's probably what we're going to see for the race results moving forward.
Which is amazing that the turnout would be that low considering the state of the city and all the coverage that's going on. I mean, this is not just a random election in the middle of good times. Mm. The city's in a complete crisis state in so many ways, and Pratt's articulating it perfectly. And it just seems like this internal poll that you're talking about is closer to the reality I see. That Pratt's got the crowds and the energy and the message, and Raman is just hanging around in the background. Just the way that just trusting my eyes and ears.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the political insiders are saying she just fell flat. They expected her to do more. She hasn't met expectations. We saw it the first time at that TV debate. I think even the cancellation last night she bit her tongue. I was just watching the city council meeting as well, too. It seems to have healed nicely. The gaffe today that she made or last night on a podcast, talking about how horrible it was that her kids saw this make-believe encampment outside their house. So she's just had a lot of.
Oh, I missed that one. We got to get on that story.
I'll send it to Ray.
Yeah, send it to Ray because I'd like to talk about it before we're done here, and also about Pratt's voters not necessarily responding to online surveys by the polling companies.
Well, the way they poll, or a lot of polling companies call people who have already voted. That's what I was trying to say in the beginning. Is so they'll take high propensity voters and they'll say, how are you going to vote? But that's not necessarily who he's getting to the polls.
Right.
So that's where we're seeing, the discrepancy. And what Rick Taylor is saying is you've got to take that energy and count that in for the numbers that we're seeing and poll in different ways than we traditionally do.
All right. Thank you for coming on again, Jamie. You really, really do great work. Thank you.
Same to you. Thank you. Take care.
We read your stuff every day. Jamie Paige at the California Post. And I missed that Nithya story about her when somebody set up a fake encampment in front of her house and she got scared, huh? Or the kid got scared. Oh, I gotta get that. And I guess good news about Nithya's tongue, Deborah. I know you were very worried about it. Yeah, we've been concerned all day.
You've been so concerned.
Well, I mean, didn't want it to fall out or something, or get infected. I mean, to give up on a TV spot.
Do you think then she would have dropped out of the race?
That's what I thought. That maybe she couldn't go on. I mean, how can you be a mayor without a tongue?
You can't.
No, it's impossible. No one's ever done it. Deborah Mark, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
A threat from the Department of Homeland Security could affect international travel at LAX.
DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen is threatening to pull federal customs officers from airports and sanctuary cities. Mullen first brought up the idea earlier this year. He now says he's drawing up the plans to follow through with it. He's facing pushback from within the Trump administration, with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy recently telling Congress he's against shutting down air travel due to political disagreements. LA Mayor Karen Bass says she spoke with Mullen and seriously doubts he would follow through with his threat, especially with the World Cup just a few weeks away. Daniel Martindale, KFI News.
The news is brought to you by Pacific Coast Termite. An armed barricade suspect was taken into custody during the Garden Grove chemical leak emergency.
Orange County Sheriff's deputies say the suspect allegedly brandished a weapon before running into a home outside the evacuation zone. After a brief standoff, one person surrendered peacefully. Deputies later recovered multiple real and replica firearms from the residence. The incident unfolded while crews continued monitoring the GKN Aerospace chemical leak site, where evacuation orders have now been lifted. Heather Brooker, KFI News.
Rescuers are trying to get to 4 climbers who have fallen on Alaska's Mount McKinley, the tallest peak in North America. The climbers' fall was reported to rangers overnight. Rangers are waiting for a weather window to let them get to the area by helicopter. The 4 climbers are part of a 7-person team. The Department of Justice is said to have opened an investigation into the woman who sued President Trump over allegations he sexually assaulted her in the 90s.
Sources tell ABC News the investigation is allegedly centered around whether Carroll committed perjury during her civil lawsuits against Trump.
ABC's Mary Bruce says E. Jean Carroll was awarded $5 million in 2023 after a jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing the former columnist in a department store dressing room and defaming her. Trump denies Carroll's allegations and has appealed the judgment. And former First Lady Jill Biden says she thought President Biden was having a stroke during the debate in 2024.
The debate prompted calls for Biden to drop out of the race after he stumbled and stammered through a number of questions while debating Donald Trump.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID.
In a new interview with CBS News, the former First Lady says she was frightened and thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke, adding it scared her to death. Biden would eventually exit the race a month later and endorse Vice President Kamala Harris as the Democratic nominee. Mark Mayfield, KFI News.
We're going to go back to the 405 next.
I just read the Nithya Raman story. Holy.
Ooh.
Not about the tongue.
Oh.
About the fake homeless encampment. They pulled a stunt and she went nuts. Here's a question. How many brokers does it take to insure your business? If you're like most business owners, the answer is too many. Multiple policies, multiple applications, and no clear view of how it all fits together. And when questions come up, it's not easy to get the clarity you need. SuperSure changes that. One broker for all your business insurance, backed by a team that works with you year-round, not just at renewal. And if you've ever stared at a policy wondering what it actually covers, SuperSure has a fine print fax tool that translates the legal jargon into plain English, so you know what's covered and what's not. And right now, you can go to supersure.com and get a full report on your current policies with no obligation. Find out if you're overinsured, underinsured, or somewhere in between. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, and all your policies in one place. Go to supersure.com. That's supersure.com.
Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Southland weather from KFI. I'm seeing some reports that there's some rain in some areas of Southern California. We do have a chance of showers after midnight. Partly cloudy tomorrow, highs Low 70s Metro LA, low to mid 70s in the valleys, mid 60s to low 70s and windy in the high desert, upper 60s to low 70s for the beaches and inland OC, upper 60s to mid 70s in the IE, and it's going to be windy there. Right now, it's 67 in Laguna Woods and 65 in Rancho Santa Margarita. Back to the 405, Sepulveda Pass.
It's that southbound side where the 3 right lanes remain closed, coming up on right around the Skirball Center area due to an earlier brush fire. And traffic is still a mess coming off of the 101. Now, it's a tough drive as well on that North 405. Overall slowing getting out of Culver City from just about the 90 on and off the brakes all the way to the 5 merge heading into Sylmar, and slowing down on that 170. This is making your way southbound in North Hollywood. I'm seeing delays here that are backing up from just about Oxnard Street due to a crash ahead just before the 134. 3 cars, and they're clearing them out of lanes. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in the greater LA area without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in the greater LA area for free. That's right. We'll give you 2 free tickets when you text EARN to 64,000. The greater LA area is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop next week right here in the greater LA area and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text EARN to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text EARN to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text EARN to 64,000.
Hey, it's Neil. This Memorial Day, American Vision Windows honors our community with a tradition of quality you can trust. Save 25% on your entire project. Plus, receive a special token of appreciation, a free Sun Matrix package upgrade. They've installed over 1 million windows, and most jobs just take 1 day. Visit AmericanVisionWindows.com or call 888-226-9908. Tell them Neil sent you. That's 888-226-9908. New customers only. Some restrictions apply. Call or see website for details. Offer ends May 31st, 2026.
These days, it's getting harder and harder to trust what you're seeing. Who made it? Is it real? But with iHeart, everything you hear is guaranteed human. That's why 78% of listeners trust their favorite radio hosts' product recommendations. And if you own or manage a business here or need to drive sales, that trust goes a long way in creating your future customers. Make iHeartMedia a part of your 2026 plan today. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. Again, that's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Call 844-GO-SMILE to learn about the new Lifestyle Smile dental implants from Lasting Smiles.
Call Lear Capital for your free gold investment kit, 800-225-8100.
Termites active? Call Pacific Coast Termite. No tenting, plus 10% off. Call 1-800-PACIFIC.
KFI, you guys are awesome.
I can leave it on all day and enjoy everything I'm listening to.
They talk about the news that we don't normally hear on mainstream news.
I am a fan. I literally have it like in my ear constantly.
KFI keeps me entertained, keeps a smile on my face.
KFI, AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. We're on every day, 3 to 6, after 6 o'clock. John Kobylt Show on demand on the iHeart app. We're live on YouTube. And we've got this news story that just came over. Jamie Paige tipped us off, and she wrote it too, that she had 3 big stories today in the California Post. And I'm so glad she mentioned it because I didn't see this one. It came out this afternoon. And apparently, some people staged a fake homeless encampment outside her own home, and it was on Memorial Day. She lives in Silver Lake. You may have seen she has a really beautiful home from the outside because Spencer Pratt featured it in one of his campaign commercials. Her home and Karen Bass's home, Getty House, and then compared it to all the filth and trash and zombie neighborhoods that Raman and Bass allow to fester. And the homeless people were seen, these are fake homeless people, climbing out of tents, staging an open-air barbecue with one guy walking around carrying a bucket. And neighbors ran out and started recording it. And then she went on a podcast and with some comedian named Adam Conover. And so I haven't heard this clip. We're going to play it. This is Raman talking about the stunt.
So I woke up this morning to a sound of commotion outside of my window. And I looked out the window and I realized that there were people setting up what was, I think, a fake encampment, like a homeless encampment outside of my house. Multiple people gathered there filming it to make shooting something with cameras and things like that outside of my house.
Yeah.
I think to make a political video that would talk about how I don't want this at all, but how I'm, that this is somebody who wants encampments on our streets, that she lets encampments be there. I have 2 little kids.
Yeah.
They didn't see it, luckily, this morning, but I feel badly that I'm even subjecting them to that at all. But it has definitely, this has gone far beyond what I expected the campaign to be about. I, again, thought it would be about bike lanes and management of the Department of Transportation.
She thought it was going to be about bike lanes? The campaign. You can't write this stuff. She's a parody of herself. I thought it was going to be about bike lanes. Bike lanes? What do you do? What can you do with somebody like that? She makes it sound like she knew right away it was a fake encampment. Now, she might be lying now. And she goes, I'm glad my kids didn't see that. Well, at a 2024 Sherman Oaks Homeowners Association debate, Raman got loudly booed because she dismissed everybody's concerns about homeless encampments near children. Raman told the crowd, I don't think a kid's going to be safer if they're 10 feet or 500 feet away from a school. It doesn't matter if it's 10 feet or 500 feet. And then everybody started booing her. And now there's a fake encampment. And I'm glad my kids didn't see that. I can't believe what the campaign's begun. I thought it was going to be about bike lanes. Bike lanes? You can't have bike lanes when there's tens of thousands of people dying in the streets. Bike lanes? What planet does she live on? What the hell? What a crazy person. The homeless encampments are filled with sexual deviants and criminals and drug addicts and people with all kinds of schizophrenia problems and other mental disorders, brain damage. They're former inmates. And she'd rather discuss bike lanes. What the hell? And who's this Adam Conover? No response from him? Was he alive or dead in that? I couldn't sit there while she's saying that stuff. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nithya. It should be about bike lanes. Wow, what a great prank. She's not normal. I cannot connect with this Nithya Raman. And she's a socialist. She's a Democratic socialist. And she's getting at least 20% of the vote at the moment. I mean, it parodies itself. I'm absolutely speechless. And I think she's very sincere. She sincerely doesn't understand why she got booed when she said it doesn't matter if the homeless are only 10 feet away from your kids. She sincerely doesn't understand why the encampments should be pushed as far away from schools as possible. And she sincerely doesn't understand why somebody would pull this fake encampment stunt and risk scaring her kids. She doesn't see the hypocrisy in that. How can that be? How is she in office? She's running the homeless committee. You know how many people have gone to her, complained to her, called her, emailed her, gone to meetings, begging her to get rid of encampments, and she just refuses to. She just doesn't respond, including that infamous one in front of the Los Feliz Elementary School. She just refuses to. She votes against all the other council people who want encampments removed from their district schools. She votes against them over and over again. She votes in a block with the three other socialists. And you saw her in the debate. She's a blithering idiot. She's an empty tin can upstairs. Nothing going on. All right, we come back. I'm finally going to get to the Joe and Jill Biden clips. Jill Biden has suddenly decided after 2 years that maybe I thought Joe was having a stroke at the time of the debate that ended his presidency. Deborah Mark is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Here is the latest. 2 children and 2 adults are dead in what police believe was a murder-suicide inside a home in North Hills. New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani is highlighting his plan to create thousands of new affordable homes in New York City. We'll have more at the top of the hour. Southland weather from KFI, partly cloudy tomorrow, high 60s and 70s. This report brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Angel, how's the freeways looking?
They are slow. We'll start off in Santa Monica for this stretch. On the eastbound side of the 10, loading up away from Cloverfield. Delays continue across Mid-City all the way to the 5 in Boyle Heights. The drive along the 210 in Pasadena, pushing back from about the 134 freeway. Delays pretty heavy all the way to Foothill Boulevard. And we're also heading into Orange, 57 northbound. That's a slow drive away from Orangewood to the 91 and ahead leaving Brea from Lambert to the 60. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This report is sponsored by Think It Up. Think It Up is an initiative to activate student-powered, teacher-led learning projects. Students and teachers, how can you spark great learning experiences in your classrooms today? Join at thinkitup.org.
0% APR, no payments for 90 days. Trophy Kia of Carson. KiaofCarson.com.
Do you want to sell your house now? Tired of waiting for the real estate market to improve? Considered selling to a cash buyer but don't know where to start?
We decided to give Wedgwood Homes a call.
The best one we found was Wedgwood Homes.
I highly recommend Wedgwood Homes. Whether downsizing, relocating, selling an inherited property, or just needing cash quickly, Wedgwood Homes buys homes for cash with no fees, no commissions, no hassles. Skip the traditional listing. Avoid the time and cost of repairs, cleanings, and showings.
The money and the time involved in getting the house ready would not be an easy task. Wedgwood Homes answered all our questions.
There are no gotcha moments.
And they were the best. They were accommodating. They were fast.
Wedgwood Homes offers are firm. No strings, no multiple showings, no last-minute changes or canceled contracts like other cash buyers.
Wedgwood Homes is just fantastic.
I highly recommend Wedgwood Homes. Call Wedgwood Homes today for an obligation all-cash offer. 800-307-2010. Southern California's trusted homebuyer for over 40 years. 800-307-2010. 800-307-2010 or wedgwoodhomes.com.
Ronald Reagan was president when Habas Law was born.
A lot has changed in the past 40 years, but the ideals and philosophies that hold Habas Law together have not changed at all.
Our core beliefs have only grown stronger.
We believe in doing the right thing.
Because it's the right thing to do.
My father taught me that. I'm Omar Habas.
His father was my grandfather. I'm Nicholas Habas.
My father owned a small group of neighborhood markets.
Little grocery stores.
And he knew all his customers.
And his customers knew him.
When a family was down on their luck,
he would always let them take whatever groceries they needed until they were back on their feet.
My father always did the right thing.
Because it was the right thing to do.
We are his descendants.
And we do it too.
When you've been injured
and you're having a bad day,
call 1-800-INJURED.
And your bad day will go away.
Call Habas Law.
Your day is about to get a whole lot better.
What my father did for others,
we're going to do for you.
HABBASlaw.com.
Omar Habas and Nicholas Habas are California licensed attorneys with an office in Los Angeles. Past results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk.
On the next Bill Handel Show, Ask Handel Anything, the Crew Edition. This is where our team gets to ask whatever they want about me. And the point is to embarrass me. And it's probably going to work pretty well. And that's coming up tomorrow morning after 8 on the next Bill Handel Show.
KFI AM 640 live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. John Kobylt Show on till 6. After 6, if you missed stuff, we had Steve Hilton on in the 4 o'clock hour. So go listen to the podcast. And it's going to be released in just a matter of minutes after 6 o'clock. Steve Hilton was live here in the studio, and you could also even watch it on the YouTube rebroadcast, which will be ready in a few minutes as well. Let's see. We got a super chat online. Rondell 1956 says the Judicial Watch lawsuit forcing LA County to purge 1 million faulty voter registrations. That and all the deportations will help Pratt, I think. Oh, my God. Let me tell you, if they ever clear out the voting rolls of all the fraud and all the dead people and all the illegal aliens, yes, elections would change significantly. Absolutely. It's all this stuff is allowed by design. There's a reason you have dead people and illegal aliens and criminals are all on the voter rolls. Anyway, thank you very much for that. By the way, tomorrow we're going to do a live stream at 11 a.m. Special live stream at 11 a.m. Not on the radio, live stream only. If you want to watch that, we're going to talk about the election. All right, let's get this in before we have to go, because this was pretty crazy. So Jill Biden has written a book, and of course she knows the only first question people have is, so what was going on in the White House? What was going on in your residential quarters at the White House for the last couple of years of Joe Biden's term? What did you think the night that he face planted at the Trump debate? This is June of 2024. Well, we're going to start with cut 4, because she claims now something that she'd never mentioned up until this point.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified. I was frightened, because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since. Never.
Or since?
Yes. Or
You've
since.
never seen him like
never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
Okay. There's her husband up on stage. Hundreds of millions of people around the world watching. And she thinks he's having a stroke. And she doesn't stop the debate. And she doesn't summon a doctor or paramedic up to see what's going on. Was she going to just let him fall face down, bang his head on the floor and die? That's not what wives do. She's so full of it now. And the idea that he never was like that before or since, he was like that all the time. How many dozens of clips do we have in our files of Joe Biden sounding like he's had a stroke? Boy, she's just really full of it. And here's, just to refresh and enjoy this once again, here's what Joe Biden sounded like in the early minutes of the debate. Play cut number 1.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number 1. Number 2, that $2 trillion tax cut benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare,
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social.
And so Joe Biden, now she says, I think he's having a stroke. Well, yeah, that looks like the symptoms of a stroke. I mean, he really stalled out there. He started making a weird squeaky, croaky sound. It was like a death rattle. And then he went on shortly thereafter. Listen to this cut too.
Why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
It's always my favorite. So Joe Biden thinks he's having a stroke, does nothing to intervene to try to save his life. You have like 5-6 minutes after a stroke begins where you got to get some kind of treatment or the brain dies. A stroke, if it's a blocked artery, then the brain's not getting oxygen. And then after 5 minutes, the brain starts to expire. And if it's a hemorrhagic stroke, then you're really in trouble, like an aneurysm bursting, because then you'll just bleed out inside of the brain. You probably have even less time. So she claims now that she thought that was happening, but just sat there silently while he was blithering on. She is just so incredibly full of it. However, she was so concerned that after the debate was over, did they go to for emergency medical care? No, they went on stage to some supporters in an adjacent room. And remember this moment?
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie! Yes.
She's insane. She's absolutely insane. And so now she's getting big headlines like she was the traumatized wife. Oh, he might have had a stroke. And he was never like that before and never like that since. Geez, we're running out of time because otherwise I'd play about 35 clips we have of him sounding exactly like that. They all lie. All lies all the time. And it works on people. That's how propaganda works. You just keep repeating the lie over and over and over again. And eventually your little minions repeat your lie. I see this in comments online, like on the Nextdoor app, and people repeating Bass lies or Newsom lies over and over again, unless they're bots or unless they're paid operatives. I don't know. It's kind of all the same. But the propaganda works. And people are very susceptible and malleable to garbage in their brains. And boy, she's really full of it. All right, we're done. We got just a few days until Election Day, and you can vote by mail. And tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we're going to have a special live stream. And it's going to be YouTube only live stream tomorrow at 11 a.m. If you want to watch it, I'll be there. YouTube.com/@John Kobylt Show if you want to subscribe or become a member. Last call for the Moist line, 877-MOIST-86, 877-MOIST-86, or use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app. What did I say? 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Yes, we're going to do the live stream. And Conway's coming up. And Michael Kirscher is the news live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
KFI and KOST HD2, Los Angeles, Orange County. More stimulating talk.